Helping with the watch list. Nice.
This morning. But thank you for that, Sharif. And you've got Joey options. So let's go right over to the midday.
Triple work.
Learn to learn to trade with the professor and Joey options.
Boom! What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That's your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And yeah, it's been an interesting day on the market. We popped up yesterday. We zigged and zagged a little bit in the morning. We went negative. I don't know what the hell going on. I got up 5 a.m. for my sesh. Market was green. By the time I was done my sesh, market was like triple-digit red.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? I opened up, and you can see that in the after hours, guys. I was even talking to people in the chat around 3:34, and we just continued to climb and climb. And I think we're going to gap down in the morning, but then we're starting to rally and recover. I mean, the market is still only up about a percentage, even if that. So, and Tesla's still negative. So here we go, guys. I mean, yeah.
All right,
that was pardon me?
Let's shut everybody out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, the shout out time. Let's go.
There we go, baby. Hytham, Corleone family, Dan Nguyen and Stevenson, ATM, Pathek, Jose, Lily, Hakpoo Zed, sure, Kahlua, Stock Up, Ultra, 3123, and Fiddleback, Brendan. How about 2 New York cents and Toilet Brush? Hello, right back at you, Toilet Brush. Just stay over there. Jay Lee, we got the Soul Queen, we got Mary, not Mary S. Lyman, a different Mary. JVG and Prestige Music. How about Jeremy Crypto? Tesla's doing something because the Katina Man is getting excited, baby. We got Jack's Money. We got Sports and Stonks. That's one of my favorite names. We got Kobe the Kid. Love that name as well. Kahlua, Diggity, Jacobs, Shabo, Showtime 1, T-Money. Nephew with a capital dang P. Shout out to On the Blockchain and YV. We got my man, Mr. God's Gift. Calm down, bro. Ooh. We got B. Davis, Jeremy Crypto, couple more. ABF Key Trades, Bert B, and Chanda Monrell. I hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. Joseph, what do we got in store for today in options?
Yeah, we're going to do some options lessons today here, guys. I've been starting to pull back in quite aggressively here, rejecting some levels. And we got a lot of open interest on Amazon at 200. You guys know that I'm in a position. I was telling you guys yesterday. We'll talk about it more later, sorry. But, excuse me, here we go here on Tesla. This is what we had going on. We'll go over the trades here quick before we hop into it. I thought Katina Man was going long, and I'm like, yeah, this is a long. And going to that individual who came on the show this morning from Trade the Pool, he said, yeah, follow the volume. And you can see on this 5-minute time frame and on the lower time frames, it really starts to pick up. Price was compressing here. We'll touch on just this compression pattern, and it broke out. And then as we punched through that resistance, I went in there, and then I added on the pullback, and then we got all out of that trade there, guys. So that was a nice one. And then we'll pull up what we had on IBIT here as well. It's unfortunate we didn't catch the longer end of the trend here. I was focusing on Tesla, but you can see we're in here. And then we'll get more in depth on this ad, but it was absolutely brutal, and the trade management could have been definitely better up here at the top. But let's get right into this lesson here, guys. This is going to be some introduction to options. I think it's going to be a good start if you're... You want to cover something quick?
Just
for
a
sure.
small cap zapper, super quick, Joseph. Just going to show them exactly what we're looking at here. Here are the 8 that I'm looking at, guys. We're involved in Poet right now. It's going to have to hold up above 440, otherwise the trade's done. We're looking at RGC, top left corner, above VWAP. A bit more pricey, RGC. Be careful with this one. AEVA putting in higher lows and higher highs, but topped out at 4 1/3. BKKT, this one looks good, man. VWAP, 10 exponential. It's all the right formula. We're going to keep an eye out on that. SPRY as well, holding at the 10 exponential, but a little bit off the high day. SAG, this one I've got more to say about, but it's below the pre-market high, so I'm staying away from SAG. POET, I mentioned AIFF, a sponsor of the show, up 13.5%, holding the 10 exponential beautifully. And last, but certainly not least, WINT. It's been stair-stepping up. Let's see if these higher lows mean anything here. Joseph, trading below 3.
There you go. Good luck there, my friend. And yeah, sorry, I forgot that we were going to get anything. I'm that intrigued and excited about what we're just going to talk about. All right. Here we go, guys. So this is just going to be options basic if you're new or if you've been trading options for a while and just want a little bit of a refresher. It's funny, as I was scrolling through the slides, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's good. Just a quick reminder. So here we go, guys. This is what we're going to be going over here today. It's just basics, benefits, capital requirements, exercise and assignments, so rights and obligations. I think those are key features that you need to understand because they're not that often talked about. And then intrinsic and extrinsic value, all right, and how to calculate them even though you don't necessarily need to, because you can just gauge it from when you know. But not always just gauge it. But here, let me do something here. Okay, so here we go. What are options, all right? So options are a financial instrument that give the owner the right to buy or sell an underlying asset at a fixed price. You can trade options on individual stocks, ETFs, and indexes, all right? So what is that fixed price? Well, that is what we like to refer to as the strike price, okay? There are two forms of options types: call options for long bias trades and put options for short bias trades. This is basic stuff. We're not going to get too in deep to certain things. So when buying a call option, you are looking for the underlying asset to move higher in price, all right? So you're looking for it to appreciate in price. When buying a put option, you are looking for the underlying asset to depreciate, all right, to move lower in price. So basic stuff. So this is also just what a liquid options contract would look like. This is a little outdated, but October 4th, 2024, you can see that this $227 call here on Apple is trading at $1.48, but you can see the liquidity and it will mirror the underlying asset. Not all contracts are this liquid, and that's why I say try to stick to liquid stocks. It looks very similar to the price action in the underlying asset, but it does vary slightly, okay? So we will do, here we go on Apple. Here's one to the put side, so that was a call, and then you can see, guys, as Apple is appreciating in price, you're going to see the decline in the value of the puts here. And that is exactly it. So it's an October 4th expiry of 25. That's a 225 put right there. And as we climb higher in price, the put option decreases in price, okay? So all options contracts have these three characteristics. All of them will have these three characteristics. A leverage multiplier of 100, so one contract equals 100 shares, an expiry date, and a strike price, all right? So one options contract equals 100 shares, as I just stated. All options contracts will have a fixed price called a strike price in which you want to acquire the underlying asset. You can select an expiry date on all options contracts ranging from 0 DTE to multiple years. And I should fix that because it's not all options contracts have 0 DTE. Most of them only have weeklies, okay? So benefits and capital requirements, this is what leads people to options trading. There are multiple benefits to trading options, capital requirements, as I just mentioned, ability to hedge stock positions, and multiple strategies to employ. So you don't just have to be have a long or short bias all the time. There's ways you can configure the contracts and including hedge, all right? So 100 shares of Apple at $227 would cost you $22,700. One Apple call at $225 with 354 days till expiry will cost you roughly about 10% of that. All right. Now, the thing is, you don't own those shares. You only have the rights to those shares. OK, so keep that in mind. There is always going to be a catch. You cannot just be like, oh, I get to own Apple for $20,000 less if I buy an options contract. No, there will be time value involved. OK, so one Apple 225 put options with 354 days till expiry will cost you $1,700. OK, so about a little bit less of 5% of that. But again, the same thing goes. You only have the rights. You only have the rights to that contract. You do not own those shares, all right? So exercise and assignment, rights equals exercise. When you exercise an option, this implies you bought a call or put that give you the right, as I was just previously stating, to allocate the underlying asset at your fixed strike price in the money, okay? So you would never exercise an out-the-money contract because why would you want to own something at a higher price when it's trading lower on the open market, okay? So obligation equals assignment, being assigned on your options position. That implies you sold the call or put and that option expired more than 1 cent in the money. This requires you to return X amount of shares to the opposite party, okay? And there we go. That's it for yeah, that's it for now, guys. We'll touch on some more things. I want to go over intrinsic and extrinsic value here shortly. But we'll touch on some other things and see what Sharif's got going on.
All right, man. We're involved in a couple of trades here, Joseph. BKKT, the one I just weaseled into now, it's a good look on the day. It's a bull flag using the volume weighted average price as it's kind of the deep retracement. But for the most part, it does seem to be shadowing, at least for the wicks, the the 10 exponential. So I've got 50s on at the moment. I'm looking at the wet the beak here at 60s and then 65s. And then I'm layering my orders above that. So let's go ahead and throw out the orders there and see if we can possibly catch a pop-up on this bad boy and extract some profitability. My line in the sand here is the breach of the volume weighted average price, plain and simple. There will be no DCAing below the volume weighted average price. It will be either I get stopped out or I print to the high side, showing me 59s right now. Don't know why I'm not getting the print. A bit of a spready one though here on BKKT. So if you're kind of averse to these small cap gappers that get a bit spready at times, you probably should stay away from this one. The other trade I've got on, POET. I'm looking for area support to hold. I didn't get my DCA yet. I've already wet the beak here at 56s. I'm long 51s. There we go. Now I've got the ad. So now it's going to have to hold up above 40 pennies because I'm not going to be, again, DCing into this one. My ultimate out on the day will be the breach of the volume weighted average price, but I will get stopped out before that if it does zig down below 40. So VWAP right now showing me 35s. I will get stopped out at 40 because I'm holding a bit of a bigger position here than I would like to hold. I've also got a dip trade set up right now on SPRY. I'm looking for a VWAP retracement. I may or may not get it. Currently VWAP on SPRY is at 14.13 or 15. Something like that. The bid here is showing me 37s. I'm looking to front run VWAP by posting my bid at 25. So we'll see what comes of that. Again, much like all the other ones, a loss of VWAP here ends the trade for me, plain and simple. Okay, so what are we doing here on BKKT? We're still continuing to hang out above the volume weighted average price, so I'm trying to pack my patience on this one, as well as POET as it came in, and I got the fill, the ad that I'm looking for here. Now all I'm waiting for is for this 445, which I perceive to be as a very obvious level of previous resistance. Does it now act as an area of support? That is always the question when you look for one area to flip from resistance to support. We'll have to see which way the cookie crumbles here, so to speak, with POET. So just to remind you guys again, with respect to the small cap gappers on the day, here is what I'm looking at, all 8. Now, obviously, if you've been watching the show, these will change as some will be removed, some will remain on. It really depends on whether or not they're tradable under my system, and my system is super simple, okay? If there's a pre-market high, if this was trading with relative decent volume in the pre-market, we need to be above that pre-market high. That's first and foremost, okay? If it's a new trade that started, bringing volume after the bell, then we don't have that pre-market high requirement. What will always be required is that the stock price is trading above the volume weighted average price as a long. I rarely short these bad boys. When I do, I short them below VWAP. When I take them long, I take them long above VWAP. Those are rules I will not bend, or I say I won't bend, but every now and again, like once a month or something like that, I end up bending them, and then I get slapped. Just be reminded of why the rules were there in the first place. So currently out of the money right now, Joseph, on BKKT, but I like where it is currently relative to the volume weighted average price. So looking to do some damage here. We'll see what comes.
Yeah, guys, good luck there. So let's just go over some trades on this morning and just how we can improve slightly here. So again, I was in on some IBIT. I had some conviction that we were going to climb higher. We were running into some key support levels in the pre-market and looking for a bounce on those Camarilla pivots. I talk about them every morning because that's what I do. I check them. So I enter here just half risk, basic stuff. But then when we sit on top of this range, I waited too long at the crack of this pre-market high to add into the position. And to be honest with you guys and frank, this was a chase, especially if I'm doubling up my size right here. This entry needs to be in right here. I hesitated, and I was hesitant on the fact that I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to double up my size and then us break below or come back to my stop, which is, I'm just trading off of pure fear, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have been in significantly earlier, 5 or 6 cents earlier, and I'm fortunate that it worked out. But then you can see another reason to do so is that I can hold this slightly longer, even though it does come back to my break even. I can still hold on to this position slightly longer here and give myself another chance. But it worked out to be a pretty good trade here. We were in, and then we added to the position, and then we just partialed out on the way up, and then we came back against us. We can always work on those bits out. I was 5% at a time, 5%, 5%, trying to hold the majority of that trade. Okay, so we'll go over TSLA and just the thesis. So I seen Katina Man said, yeah, Tesla's just doing nothing here as the overall market started to trade higher. And I was looking at it, so we started to form this price compression pattern. And you can see here, actually, I'm gonna pull it up on this, just because we can see it distinctively better.
Pull up.
Pull up, pull up, pull up. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what we're gonna be able to identify here. And we'll notice it significantly better. And Sharif would consider this the same. So what I've seen here is that we're now compressing. We're forming lower highs, right? And higher lows throughout the whole session. So price is starting to compress. And then you see that volume really start to fall off relatively, especially in this time frame. And then look what happens. The individual from Trade the Pools this morning said, follow the volume. And look what you see here on that 1 minute time frame. That volume really steps in as you break through some of these key resistance levels. So this is what you would like to call an ascending wedge or some form of wedge, because we are starting to form higher lows, and then there's lower highs compressing the price in here, and then that volume steps right in, and then that's our job to start to participate on that. So that was a thesis on Tesla, and you can see we entered right at the crack. Nice trade, and then our trade management was significantly better compared to IBIT in this trade because I was more relaxed. I'm like, okay, I've seen this. Let's just take it easy. We're following the volume, be patient, and then that's when we slowly take some out, and then now we add to that position, and then we climb higher. So that was the better trade. To be honest with you, net more on the IBIT, but the trade was much better here on Tesla. Just from start to finish, from entering, trade management, to closing out the position and adding to it as well too. So yeah, I'm looking for the same thing here on TSLA. We'll catch up in time here. We're doing essentially the same thing. It's identical. So I'm just waiting for one way to break and for the volume to step into this underlying asset here, Sharif. I'm going to be patient. I do believe that we can continue to climb higher here in this market, and I'm going to wait to do so with waiting on an entry, a precise entry with Tesla.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, just setting up some orders up in this bad boy. Shout out to Nimit. Nimit, you don't gotta apologize there, brother. I mean, you can't keep your eye on the chat. So Nimit and I think Bren Works. Were asking me about PSTV, not Trader TV, PSTV, and that was a bad check. My bad. Now, the point of this one is, or what I was saying to them was, I was displeased with the fact that it is below the dollar area. You know, it's a different trade north and south of a dollar. We've talked about this multiple times. There's a lot of good about this, okay? The bad news, obviously, is it's below a dollar, and that makes it a bit more difficult of a trade. Also, certain algos won't participate, so sometimes we don't have that parabolic move up. Now, what I do like about it is it's stair-stepping up. It's above the pre-market high. That pre-market high was about 68 pennies, well above that level, so good look there. And it also respected the 10 exponential. You can see that, very respectful. On the way up, higher highs, higher lows, the dips, all bounce off that 10 exponential. And then you get the topping tail candle into 93 pennies, which is not a dead end for these small cap gappers. It is not the same thing as seeing a topping tail candle on a large cap or mid cap name. This is kind of part of their DNA. Another thing that I like about it, it seems to have a buyer around 77.5 pennies. In any event, it's above VWAP. I build my position here if I was to trade this, which I'm not, because below a dollar. At 75 pennies, I'm defending that volume weighted average price. If it loses VWAP, I'm out. I would be looking to build my position maybe right now 77.5 pennies. It's not quite making its way down into 75. There does seem to be buying at around 77.5. In fact, all these candles subsequent to 1050 all have bounced off, meaning the closing print have been above 77.5. So there does seem to be a buyer in and around that level. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I'd obviously be taking profits on the way up to a dollar because there is a good chance that that dollar does reject. That is kind of the nature of the beast. Bro, I can't talk, man. I'm just going to go home.
No, it's
He's like, yeah, I'm not doing the show, man. Yeah, he's like, you're staying right there.
Yeah, exactly.
No, seriously though. So we'll have to wait and see which way this one, how this one trades. Nimit and Bren, if this one breaks $1, please let me know. I've run out of room on my side charts, so there's no room to put this bad boy on, and I don't want to remove any of the other ones because they're all kind of valid at the moment. So that's my look right now. We're involved in Poet. We're involved in BKKT. What the hell is the name of this company, by the way? Is it Backed Holdings? It is Backed Holdings. Yeah, man, Derek used to talk about this one all the time. I had a dip trade here on SPRY that's destined to go unfilled. In fact, I don't even think it's valid anymore because this 3-candle pop-up on the 5, if we end up dropping and filling my order, that ends up being a lower high. That's not my move. This order is getting canceled. I'd rather set up a little bit differently on this one. The concern for me here, though, on the BKKT trade is not that I'm not getting filled, but that we're now 4 candles in a row on the 5-minute chart where we've put in lower lows and lower highs. We're still above VWAP. It's also shown its propensity on the day to use VWAP as an area support. Doesn't mean it's going to do it again, but that's not what trading is. It's about putting the odds on your side. So there was a buyer at VWAP previously. I'm anticipating there is a buyer at VWAP this time around, so I'm looking at building my position into the volume weighted average price. I've got 50s, it's showing me 39s. I'm looking to add at around 10s to defend that $12 level. Volume weighted average price on BKKT, a couple of shekels, more than a couple, about 15 pennies above that 12. So because of the closeness of VWAP and the whole dollar level and the nature of how this one trades, case in point, spready, I've put my stop below that $12 area despite the fact that 12 is about 15 pennies below the volume weighted average price. And as I've mentioned, I don't like trading these below VWAP. But there has to be special circumstances or special whatever rules made for special circumstances. I perceive this one to be one of those where the support levels for a name overlap or close in some regard. So that's my look right now. SPRY no fill. BKKT still waiting. This one we got a couple of fills on, but I didn't get my DCAs sadly down here. I'm looking at defending into VWAP. So that's my look. AIFF as well. This one, I don't know what the hell this is doing. It popped up aggressively there. So we were seeing kind of like the second bull flag form. I perceive this 950 pop to be the first bull flag. Big boy move, consolidate, big boy move, consolidate. And this one was a longer bull flag. It came off that volume weighted average price, rocketed up to 570, dropped right back down into 540. So it probably stopped everybody and their mother, the longs, the shorts, and everybody in frickin' between. I hate these type of bamboozling specialist breakouts and breakdowns. They are part and parcel, though, of trading these small cap gappers. So you can hate them all you want, but they are a fact of life. So going to keep my eye on AIFF. It could lose its spot on the side chart if it does not behave, Joseph.
Yep.
And right now, it's like on that borderline.
On the borderline.
I don't like that.
Yeah, we don't like that stuff. You gotta behave. You gotta be online. Gotta be orderly.
Thank you for putting up with my
and
insanity,
inline,
bro.
man. Hey, it is what it is.
Bro.
What does this look like to you, Sharif?
Hold on. Head and shoulders pattern
Dang,
forming.
that's it. I didn't even have to
Preceded
say
by an
anything
uptrend,
else.
bro.
Boom.
That's the most important part of the head and shoulders. You got to have that big boy uptrend.
What's it on? Amazon. Dang.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just, we're talking,
bad.
I'm talking, no, it's okay. It is what it is. It's a head and shoulders. I'm glad that we identified it, so we got more conviction within that. So we might pull up, and Sharif, we you know why we're struggling up here at 199.50?
Why?
I'm going to go because we got 33,000 open contracts at 200 here, guys.
Say
all
more.
right? Exactly. So we're going to have to wait for this expiration cycle to go up. And that's why NVDA has been struggling here, guys, is because there's such a ladder of open interest through the 20s that it's taking a lot in order for it to slowly climb higher, because you either got people covering or they're just getting out of the position. You need people to grab the liquidity in that strike price because there's so much OI and volume there, all right? And it's the same thing here. It's not a coincidence. We go over these levels quite often. And to the individual in the chat who was asking me that question about the options and say, how does he differ from them? How does he differ? Which is which? So what you want to use it as, and hopefully this is in layman's terms for you and as simple as I can put it, if you see an high level of open interest on the put and the call side, it's going to be pinning. It's going to get really hard to get through those levels, but just eliminate the both side on the calls and the puts. But if you see an outstanding amount on the call side, it can act as resistance. If you see an outstanding amount on the put side, the exact same thing, it's going to act as support, all right? And just try to keep it that simple for now, and then once you get a good understanding and you've watched it come into play multiple times, then you will be able to, you'll get a better grasp of it. And that's what I was referring to yesterday in some of the market. So 480, there was a lot of OI. We rejected it multiple times throughout the day, and then eventually we broke through on that FOMC, so that volatility and that momentum to the top side gave us enough liquidity and enough participants in order to push through those key levels, and that's what we've seen yesterday. But yeah, Amazon's starting to pull back in. Tesla's starting to sell off here. I'm going to look for the hold of VWAP. I was looking for it to break back up, but it looks like the bears won this battle here, guys, and that selling pressure really starting to step in as you break through some of these key support levels. So we'll monitor this name. I wanted to get in IBIT again because you just want to stick to names that are strong and that work for you, but I'll be really patient. A nice hammer candle right here. So we could have risked about, 10 cents or so, and then we could have got about a 30-cent move to the top side, but that's okay. We'll be patient. I think the opportunity will come again. Tesla breaking down, I just mentioned that there, guys. PDD, really strong today. They had earnings, and then a nice rally. It sold off in the pre-market, and then I seen this hammer candle. I'm like, oh, this stock is going to recover here today. And then sure enough, traded higher in the pre-market, and then I just wasn't quick enough on the trigger to take it here because that was a nice hammer candle, and then you traded up about $9 or $8 from that point. So really good look there on PDD. If you want to stick with these strong names, you know it's lunchtime, so the volume will start to slowly die off a little bit here, guys. You can see it on the 1 minute time frame as well. Nice steady volume, and then as we get into lunch, it slowly dwindles, and that's when you get that sideways type price action. So paying attention to volume, our vol is extremely important. So we do it all day, every day. It's our job. But we got a $20 super chat here. Sharif, I've been watching every day for 4 years. You guys have the best show. I've learned so much. Thank you. 27-year-old business owner, started full-time options trading in January. Any advice you have? You guys changed my life.
Wow, bro. I mean, that makes me feel like a lot of pressure there, but that's kind of down your alley there because of the options thing. But thank you very much for the super chat, man. That is very kind of you to say. 4 years is a hell of a long time, man. That's like
in this trade.
What's that?
In this world, yeah.
Oh, absolutely,
yeah,
bro. You know the longevity is
exactly.
very short sometimes on these. Yeah, that's just kind of the way it is, man. And I think I've been watching for 4 years, man. And that's the funny thing there. I started watching, I think, December of 2020. So going on 5 years, not quite, but yeah, right there with you, man. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Yeah, I started in 23, and that was when I first seen you on the show.
Yeah?
Yeah. Dude, I told you, I was just like sitting at my desk at home one day, talking to Greg V, my buddy, just doing so, and I'm scrolling through YouTube because I would watch CNBC, and then I see this show, like Trader TV Live. I'm like, what is this? And I click it, and it's like, Katina, man, let's go, money.
That's
it was like
what
one of the
got
first
me,
things. I'm like, what
I used to
is this?
troll the Katina man in the chat, like, spend the money.
Yeah, I would always say that exact same thing.
And now I can do it on my own.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Wow, what a world, man. But yeah, as for options advice, just stick to those stops, man. Basic trading stuff. It takes, and I was thinking about this little shower thought. Like it's like going through university, right? You got your bachelor's, master's, PhD, whatever it may be. It takes time, right? You're not going to learn this game in 6 months, a year, or whatever. You're looking at a 3-4 year plan for the majority of the individuals. But if you just stick to it, you'll get it. And if you just learn what not to do, then you'll be pretty good off, I think. So, I agree. Yeah. So that's the name of the game. But keep doing what you're doing. You're 27 years old and you're trading options. So keep yourself in the game.
All right. I want to cover Donkey Kong for John Del Sagno, DKNG. Look, it's a fantastic, wrong screen. There we go. Fantastic look today on DKNG. Wow, this one is awfully strong. Bull flag right off the jump, baby. Right off the jump. 9:30, we get that rocket up. We get that sideways consolidation, and we get a clear view of what the top end of the bull flag is. It's obviously $39. Nary a print above 39. Closing print, that is. There were one or two. But for the most part, we did dance below that $39 level. All the while, though, baby, putting in those higher lows. So a bit of an ascending wedge component to the bull flag, which is even more bullish in my humble opinion. So $39 flat top break, and here we go. We're at 39.25. We weaseled on up. It looks like to 39 and a third, not quite, maybe high 20s. Here we go again, showing me 28s on the ask. Shout out to John. That is a good look on Donkey Kong today. It's not up big. It's up 1.8%, but a great looking pattern and some good volume coming along with it. About 2.5 million printed so far on the name. So we'll keep tabs on DKNG. It hasn't really quite earned its way onto the side chart yet, but a $39 test here would be just absolutely beautiful. Now, there's a couple of different possibilities. There's more than a couple. I'll give you what I perceive to be some of the likelihood, some of the most likely possibilities here for DKNG. We got one bull flag here. If the market continues strong, we could get a second. So the way to gauge how far up the second goes is by measuring the first one. The TA books say they're usually very similar. So that's what I'm looking at first. A second bull flag. So if I start seeing a big move up and then sideways consolidation, I'll know we're in a second bull flag. The other possibility is we don't bull flag a second time, but we come back in and test that $39 breakout area. That would be another interesting one as well. I just got stopped at a BKKT, so we'll take a loss there to start the show. That's kind of the way this works. $39. If it comes back in here on DKNG, that could be an interesting pickup. It was an obvious area of resistance initially. Let's see if it wants to act as support if it does come back down and test that $39. Are you hot? Or am I the only person that's hot right now?
You know I'm always cold, man.
I know, Neil. People have been telling me about PSTV. Thank you for that, Neil. I've got it right here. Neil is keeping an eye on PSTV as well. Nimit was looking at it. Bren Rex was looking at it. Screen guys, please. 102 is currently the high, so it did breach that $1 area. It hasn't quite cleared it up. This one was a great hold at 77.5. We're going to take off now. Who are we going to take off here? We're probably going to take off BKKT because it's losing VWAP, and we're going to put PSTV. Simple as that. All right, so this one is doing the dance with absolutely no underwear or pants at that 102 area. Let's see if it clears that dollar. It's a fantastic look into the dollar area. Let's see if it's able to clear it so we can actually have an unencumbered trade by a zillion different price levels below that dollar. There it goes into 108. So this is a great look right now on PSTV. Let's go ahead and take off BKKT and put PSTV on the trade screen. I believe it is on the NQ. It is up about 105%. My mistake. Let's see if this one defends a dollar. If it doesn't defend a dollar, I'm a buyer off 88, 85 pennies for that top end of the bull flag. So we'll see which way the cookie crumbles here, Joseph. PSTV, good luck.
Yeah, there we go. Tesla's really starting to break down here, guys. So nice holding through that Katina, man, especially on this weak name, guys. You know that I got out of it, and I'm happy that I got out of it. It's unfortunate that I put in a 5% rally, but as Sharif says, it's just a relief, right? So sitting on some cash, I grabbed some hood for the long term, start a small position in that. So I'm really happy. And the thing is, though, Sharif, it's not like... The thing is, it's like I'm out of the trade, and I feel like the environment's like, oh, he's out of it. I can always get right back in. Exactly, right? It's not like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I was going to say it's like that one old ex-girlfriend you'd always ran back to or something like that. It's not done forever. We can just get right back in the trade. So, yeah, there you go. He's not he's not running back. He's out. Once he's done that trade, he's done. But yeah, that's it. But I mean, but that's what I mean. When it's time to get back in this stock, I'm going to do so, all right? So, and again, I just don't like it. I'm fortunate that we sold at the bottom, but that's okay because I'm happy because I can just rotate into other names that are also down 50%, 45%. And for me, that was hood and sit on some cash and maybe grab a little bit more IBIT and get that number rounded up a bit there, Sharif. So, yeah, that's my thesis, and that's the game plan. So, yeah.
people yelling about Palantir.
Palantir, yeah, let's pull up Palantir here and see what we got going on.
No,
is it
it's
tanking?
No, it's
is it trading
out,
to the top
Joseph.
side?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting, Sharif, because the market is starting to come back into the volume weighted average price, and then Palantir is holding up pretty steady up here, guys. So good luck, up 3.5% on the day. Oh, and this is what I like from a daily standpoint, Sharif. You see that we're sitting on top of this daily range as well, too. We open up, so there's a possible breakout here. That's a really good look. It may not happen today, but if it holds up relatively strong, then I think that we can continue to the top side and recover some of this loss, because we had a high of 125 and then traded all the way down to 74. So that's a $50 haircut. That's hefty. There's not something that you want to be worrying about. And it's funny, I was listening to some stuff yesterday, and the analyst said, I had 30-year-olds coming to me with their portfolios and be like, hey, sell this stock. I don't want to be in it anymore. But and they're like, oh, well, the S&P is only down 9% or 5%, whatever it may be. I'm like, yeah, the overall index may be 5%. But if you look at a lot of these tech names, Sharif, they're 15%, 20%, 25%, 45%. So it is panic mode. It's not panic mode, but it's like, okay, we got to be weary here and watch out what's going on and kind of manage the portfolios. I'm all about the long term, and I like what Neil and Sean said yesterday. If you don't like something in the long term, just get out of it and get into something that you're more comfortable with. And that's exactly what I did.
Tesla's tanking here, guys. Something's going on here with Tesla, but I want to mention quickly IBO, not the IBO. Is there an IBO belt before I make a dumb joke?
Yeah, there is.
There is an IBO belt. Okay, so I'm not crazy. Halted to the downside, 245 high day, currently halted down to 199. This is the number one gapper in the market above $1, 275%. It's a halt fest, though, to the upside. So we're going to have to see a little bit more here before we get involved with IBO, but it probably will make its way onto the side chart if it's able to kind of be tradable. And by the way, it's only done about 1.78 million shares, despite the fact that it's $1. Reason being, it can't stay open. TSLA, sorry to digress, Tesla just dropped aggressively. 238 down it goes into 230, defending that $230 level, Joseph. And that was kind of the level that we defended this morning. We kind of broke 230, but look at the closing print right around that 230 area. So I'm all eyes to see if 230 defends. Yesterday, again, we did breach 230. We did weasel down into 229, but as soon as we did that, there were buyers and we moved up all the way into 241. So 230, an interesting area on Tesla. It is a multi-day support level. And by multi-day, I'm talking about yesterday and today. In fact, 230 ended up being a resistance level on the 18th, which I believe was Tuesday. When we got below that level, we got down to 223. We could not do any better than that high 229. So 230, an interesting area. You're already $1 in the money. It's forming a hammer candle at the moment, a top bottoming tail candle. We'll see if it ends up closing as a hammer candle. The body is very small right now on the 5-minute chart. Tesla down 2%, a little bit lower, but a good defend off that $230 level. If you're going to hold it here, make sure you are identifying potential areas of resistance on the way up. Where are those at? People are asking. Nobody's asked, but that's kind of my job. 232, I perceive possible resistance. Look at that consolidation area bottom all morning in the pre. 232 was support. Does it act as resistance after taking out that level? So going to keep my eye on that. Still involved in this Poet trade. We're 7 cents out of the money. Keeping my eye on PSTV. It has been hanging out above the buck. I like PSTV all the way down into about 90 pennies. A couple of reasons for that. You have the topping tail candle there that goes into about 92, and you have the 10 exponential, which is a level that I use for these small cap gappers at about 91 pennies. I hate when it's kind of at that dollar area and I have to use moving averages or price levels below the dollar because it kind of makes it complicated. All right, so it dips into 90 pennies. I pick it up off 90 pennies. Does it mean it's going back to 108? No, I still have to consider that even though we've breached the dollar on that day, the dollar will act as resistance on the way up. There's no two ways about it. I've seen this story unfold so many times. It's a different trade, north and south of $1. So if you're going to pick it up below that dollar, know that if it tries to reclaim the dollar, it probably will be met with some selling. We'll have to see how this all ends up working out. How do I say this person's name? The Valley Palms. Oh, I love that. Man, I've been Palm Beach. Oh, not Palm Beach. Sorry,
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, thank you, bro.
I got
so
you.
hot.
I got-
Thank you,
oh, bro, I like that.
insanely
It's
hot. And I
like the
went in
heat.
the summer too, like an idiot.
No.
Well, it wasn't my fault. My
worst-
niece had a cheer competition.
The worst thing is going to like Jamaica or somewhere hot during the summer because it rains, but then the rain just makes it more humid, and like you'll see the rain evaporate off the pavement, and it's just so hot.
That's
and it's
crazy.
like, man,
It rained
you're
in
just
Vegas.
miserable,
It
man.
was the driest rain I've
Oh,
ever experienced in my life.
That's funny.
Great question. Any suggestions on RGC? Been holding it at 1066. Dude, you're $29 in the money. Ring the damn profit bell, man. What are you doing? This is a small cap gapper. Fantastic trade by you. I mean, I've got nothing bad to say about that, but these ones, they're around for a good time, not really a long time. Let's see where you're at. You're from Wednesday, you said. So last Wednesday, yeah. Let me flip to the 15 so we can see what he's talking about. Yeah, see how many times I put the ticker on this? We've been trading RGC a whole bunch. Look, brother, this is a fantastic breakout for you. Let's look at the daily. I mean, it's still going. I don't know how many bagger this is. This is what, a 4 bagger? Because you're long at 10, we're about 40. I'd be taking profit, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is one of those ones where you're likely going to encounter some resistance here at around 47.5. What's the short float on this monster over here? Let's find out. RGC. I think this is the one we didn't have. How is this possible? 0.27% short float, and it moved like that. Maybe this is why. Float is 786,000 shares. I'd be selling around here. Only reason is you're likely to encounter some resistance around 48. If you clear 48, it's a blue sky setup. Blue sky setup means that you've never been this high, and so there are no resistance levels, price action resistance levels that you're going to meet. You can meet psychological ones like certain fib retracement numbers, certain price levels like 50, 175. They act as psychological resistance, but you won't have price action resistance where you'll say, you know, I know there's bag holders from up here. They could keep me down because they'll be selling to get out break even. So I'd be ringing the profit bell, but it's entirely up to you, my man. I'd love to hear your thinking about this trade, like why you held it for so long. What was it about the company that made you hold it? Is this kind of what you do normally, hold these small cap gappers for more than a day? That's not something I do. I'd like to hear more about that from you, my man. So tag Joseph or I in the chat. Guys, PSTV is breaking out. Here we go. So it did test that dollar. So it did come back in. It tested the dollar, and it passed the test, so to speak, because we just made another new high of the day. It is $1.12 now, with that dollar now acting as support. You'll love to see that when it does act as a support level and not bamboozle you. Let's not sing this one's praise too quickly here, because it can lose the dollar. I'll be picking this one up on a retracement. Good look here for PSTV, up 115%, Joseph.
Nice, good look there. We had some good questions in the chat. All right, and we're going to touch on them right now, okay? So we'll see what we got going on here. Okay, so here's Amazon. Someone asked me, so Joe, how do you determine stops here in with options contracts, all right? And we're going to go over a prime example. So here, this is the thesis. We're thinking that we're putting in a base here on Amazon. We believe that the bottom, we want to put a stop a little bit below that, right? Just in case there's a fake out. But you can see we're slowly starting to curl over, especially when the underlying asset has been down about 21%. That's a hefty haircut. So we're looking for a bounce here in Amazon. So what do you do when you want to grab some options contracts and be like, how do I implement this stop here? All right, so we'll go over this here. So we'll just use it from a bear call spread example. All right, so what we see here, and we'll go to the 200 strike. So what we'll see here is where we can profit and where we're not going to profit. All right, why is that like that? Okay, so yeah. Anyways, what we can determine here is, okay, I want to have my stop at 185, and this is going to be our profit range here. This is when we go when we become profitable. But what we want to look at here is, where is my loss from 185? And this is what I use to gauge for stops and in an options contract. So if it says my loss at 185 is around to 184 USD, then that's what I just subtract from the value of the contract. So if the contract's $5 and we'll make it 200 flat, I'll put my stop loss at 300 just to do simple math. And it's the exact same as trading an asset. You got to use these charts to implement like, hey, where are you going to be right and where are you going to be wrong? And then this way, this is just a basic bear call spread. It can change from a long call. You'll see your profit range is drastically different and where you're going to be profitable and not. And the exact same for bear calls, or bear put spread, etc. It's the inverse of that, where you can become profitable and where are you not, all right? So just keep that in mind, and that's what I use to gauge is this charting, all right? So the same thing here, just using that as a base. We're in some TSLA. We had that momentum to the downside, and now we're looking for a base. I liked what Sharif was pointing out to me, and that's why I said, ooh, okay, that's really attractive. You can see that we're holding this level right here relatively well, and then we have this hammer candle on heightened volume after an engulfing bearish candle. This is slightly risky. We're only going to risk 230, the low a day in TSL. If it cracks it, thesis invalid, and then we might crack this pre-market low. But if we do bounce, I believe we can come back into the volume-weighted average price, and that's going to be the primary target. It does look like a breath. Right now, we didn't close fully as a hammer, and we might be doing a possible ABCD pattern to the downside. So this name is really weak. Market does seem relatively strong, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get that bounce. But that's just how I implement stops in options. I just use the charting. Where am I wrong? And then I just deduct it from the value of the contracts. But yeah, it's starting to work out here on TSLA, guys. Let's pull it up on the chart and see what we got going on. As long as we hold 775, I think we're going to be sitting pretty. We will add a little bit to this position for this bounce back in the market. The Q's put in a beautiful 5-minute hammer candle as well too, Sharif, right at the volume weighted average price. If my guy Gorv is paying attention, Los Pollos Hermanos, you're looking for these signals as well. You play the crack of that on the 5-minute, you got a nice little bounce right there, a 2-point bounce or a 1-point bounce there roughly, all the way up to 42.75. So 50 cents, we'll call it even. But here, holding these levels really, really well, higher lows, which is important, and that's what we want to see here in the market.
Oh, your friend. Your friend, what's his guy's name? Saylor? Of course I know his name. Michael Saylor is live now at the Digital Asset Summit in New York. I believe Donald Trump, he either spoke already or he was slated to speak at 10:40. Right now it is the Saylored one on the stage speaking now. So, you know, obviously keep your eye out for any Bitcoin-related activity. Keep your eye out on the miners, Coinbase, etc. Michael Saylor on the stage currently right now dropping hotlines. We will, I mean, we don't have a Dara today, so probably be a little bit tougher to give you headlines, but I've got my news blotter up here. Oh, he did already speak. Donald Trump already spoke. Donald Trump calls for stablecoin legislation, lauds Bitcoin reserve. Biden got a fraction of their value. I mean, he's probably going to take shots at Joe Biden. That's normal. I'll read this article when Joseph starts his part there. But Donald Trump, I guess, already spoke. He was slated to speak, as I mentioned, at the big desk at around 10:40. Now Michael Saylor on the stage. So that's the situation. Now I'm involved in a couple of trades now. Few. PSTV, I had to punch in at highs because it was getting away from me. So I got small size and I'm looking to defend that 105 area. Already wet the beak at 114. I'm looking next for 116, but I don't mind this coming down so I can add a little bit into this. I'm still waiting for something to happen here on Poet. We're a couple of shekels out of the money. Donkey Kong, we're printing to the high side. We're about 20 pennies in the money here on the donkeyed one. And now I'm going to wait at the $0.25. It just popped up into the fifth of a dollar. It's up 1.5%. Good look. Shout out to John Del Segno for pointing this one out to me. I didn't have eyes on DKNG. We're looking to wet the beak here. I'm going to get stopped out below that 38.95 area. I'm long at 05s. We'll see what comes of this trade. As I mentioned, still waiting on Poet. Topping tail candle now on PSTV. It's still a higher low and a higher high. So I'm not gonna, start panicking or anything like that, but I don't mind getting filled at that 105 area. Let's have a quick look at crypto, see what this is doing. Crypto's doing nothing. In fact, it actually dropped I think when Donald Trump started talking, we were in a consolidation phase at around 86.2, and we dipped down, losing 85 to 84,875, and now we're trying to work back above 85,000. So if it was anything, it was a sell the news event on the Donald Trump speech, at least for the moment. We'll have to see if this one turns back around. As I mentioned, above 85,000, again now 85,250. Crypto in focus. Now, there was an article that we got, I believe late last week, that talked about a budget neutral strategy to try to build up the crypto reserve without having to, incur more taxpayer funding. And what does that mean? That means just taking already earmarked assets or money that's already been earmarked and then funneling it in there. Specifically, what they wanted to do was they wanted to sell some of these gold certificates and then take the proceeds of that and then put it into the Bitcoin Reserve Fund. I didn't hear anything about that since the time it was reported on. I don't know if Donald Trump talked about it. I haven't had an opportunity to read the article, but that is one of the theories being floated around for being budget neutral so that you don't have to raise more money and the taxpayer doesn't have to incur more of a burden than they already have. All right, PSTV working back into the highs now. High day 16s just showed me 16s on the ask. I'm waiting at 17, so it is by definition a high of day break type trade. We'll have to wait and see how this one ends up panning out. Still waiting on Poet. Did I get anything on Donkey Kong? Nope. Right back into my entry on DKNG. So if it dips down below that 39.85 and loses 39, I'm out. The only reason I'm in at 39, as I mentioned, I perceive this to be the top end of the range of the bull flag. So I see a bull flag here on DKNG, and with the $39 area being that resistance level, if it loses 39, that will be the end of my trade. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, same thing here. Just talking to Los Polios. I don't expect much from this trade. I'm probably going to get stopped out, break even. I didn't take too much off it. If we can just pull up my screen there real quick to see what we got going on. Yeah, perfect. So you see we added to that position at the break of the resistance zone, and then now looking for that move back to VWAP, but the market is starting to pull back in. We had multiple hammers on the SPY and the Qs right at VWAP, which is a positive sign. And NVDA, I'm getting a lot of questions in the chat. Can it break it? I don't know. Like, unfortunately, I can't give you an answer. All we can do is just talk about the technicals and what we have going on. There is a lot of open interest balanced on each side of 120. Yesterday, we had identical numbers as well, too, though, guys, and we punched through, and we're now sitting above that. So we can definitely climb higher. We're going to need the overall market to participate in order to do so, but anything is possible. I mean, it looks like it wants to. We're now at 120. All we can do is just wait and see how the underlying reacts around these key levels. But Tesla is really starting to work out here, guys. So that's a positive sign. Sharif, thank you for pointing out that hammer as we were selling on Tesla, and we played the bounce right off it with that momentum.
Beautiful,
so
bro.
yeah,
That 230's been money.
Yeah,
huh?
it's been real money. So yeah, good luck there, my friend. Much appreciated. That's why you have multiple eyes on things.
Thanks.
Otherwise, I wasn't even going to spend any more emotional. Oh, I guess I had a good trade on it, but I wasn't paying attention to it. I'm like, this asset's just too weak. But here you go, guys. You can start to see how weak NVDA is. And one thing to note as well is when we talk about high levels of open interest, it's like, okay, they may come into play quite often, but they don't always work. It's like any form of indicator, right? But you can see that we're struggling at that 120 level, and there's a lot of open interest there, guys. So I don't know why I typed in 120. I'm thinking about it, but yeah, we'll go over. But we're punching through. We rejected it here. You also have yesterday's high, so there's definitely going to be resistance in this zone. I'm not saying that we can't punch through if that volume momentum steps in. I think we'll be sitting okay, but it will be a slower of a grind just to do to the amount of liquidity at those levels, Sharif.
All right, we're doing well here on PSTV. Where are we long? Nines. I'm waiting at the $0.25, but there's a monster seller at 22, and they're re-upping their position. Look at how the ask is growing. It was at 290, now it's at 325. So there's more people piling in to the sell at that $1.22, but it's a tug of war right now between buyers and sellers because equally large is the bid, growing almost as large as the ask, but we're unable to budge right now above that 122 level. I'm talking about PSTV. What a monster move to the high side this is. So it did just lose that 122. I'm still waiting at a $1.05. I've only got one more out on this bad boy, so I won't be taking it out here. You can bet your bottom dollar about that. So we're going to pack our patience there. Still waiting on anything from Donkey Kong, 39, still zigging and zagging at 39s, didn't get stopped out there. So waiting, I've moved down my order now for 39.10 because, well, this one might lose the bid. Poet, still doing nothing, still holding VWAP. I'm trying to pack my patience with this one, but it is a very, very long move down. It's holding VWAP, but I don't know for how long. Essentially, it's been moving down for an hour, okay? So 1050 was the first red candle, and that made the new high at 465. And since that time, we have been putting in lower lows and lower highs. We're still at that volume-weighted average price, but I won't have much more patience for this one if it continues on its way down. I'm listening to Michael Saylor right now. It looks like he is positing a new product. We know this guy's modus operandi. He's looking to raise more money to buy more Bitcoin. Essentially, how he does that, sometimes he does it this way, sometimes he does it that way, but he is talking right now about raising more money as I hear it. Through a different kind of system. I'm keeping an eye on Bitcoin. Bitcoin it's a sell the news event, guys, because this keeps making lower lows. Bitcoin at the low of the day right now, 84,757. Again, you know, your low of day might be different than mine because each platform starts Bitcoin's, you know, kind of day a little bit differently. Sometimes, you know, Joe will have some sort of percentage up on the day. I'll have something else. So I'm keeping my my ears and my eyes locked in right now on the digital asset sale. All right, back to PSTV. Boom! We take out that 125 on PSTV, but we've got no more shares left. So we're going to have to weasel back in some way, somehow. Now, the 10 exponential moving average on my chart's at 107. So that 105 order means bupkis to me now. Let's go ahead and try to defend that 110 level. I'm going to be sitting at 111s to kind of front run any size in and around there. That's kind of my move right now. But Donkey Kong is losing that $39 area, and I will get stopped out if it passes 88. And there it is. Now we got stopped out. So break-even trade, we went the beak a little bit, and then we're still holding, so we end up giving back a skosh. So a little disappointed with how this Donkey Kong trade ended up working out, but that's kind of the way it is there. Keeping an eye back now on PSTV as it tops out at the $1.25, coming into a $1.16. I'm waiting at a $1.11. I will be working my way into this one, hopefully with some bigger size now that the overall market's got notice of it. Here comes into my area, show me 12s. I'm waiting at 11s. Let's see if we can get the fill here. Now, there we go. Now we got the fill. Now what's the deal? Are we going to pop back up or are we going to continue moving back down? Let's throw out my orders in case we get a move back up. I want to wet the beak here on some profits. I will be defending into the $1 area. You can bet your bottom dollar on PSTV. Let's see how this one does. We already got 111s. Let me see if I can get my 15s here. I will put out some more dip trades into that 105 area where I perceive the 10 exponential moving average to be hanging out. So that's a look right now on this bad boy. Anything else going on over here with Poet? Not much. Random thoughts on AIFF above the 10A EMA here. Yeah, man, it looks good. For the exception of this one bamboozling name, are you hot as well, dude? Oh, okay, you were just, yeah, because I don't know why I'm heating up today, Neil. It's probably just me. Yeah, this was the only kind of complaint that I have about AIFF, that it was a specialist breakout and breakdown. Like, don't tell me that this was not purposeful to get everybody out who was short and everybody out who was long, right? So I kind of don't like that about these bad boys. But after that bamboozlement, there it started putting in higher highs and higher lows. It looks to be defending that 10 exponential. My ultimate out, my suggestion to you is take it out if it loses the volume weighted average price. That is my suggestion there. Mr. C, can you check SPY? 199 super chat. Thank you very much, my man. I do appreciate that. You want to check SPY for your
absolutely. Boy? Okay, yeah, we're just going to hop out of Tesla. It might continue to climb higher, but the market wants to seem to pull back here, guys, and I think it's going to join it. It's unfortunate what's going on with Bitcoin right now. I thought we were going to continue this rally, but it's only down a little bit. But let's go over SPY here. We like the spider. right now, anyways, it's a good recovery. I was going through a basket of stocks yesterday. I mean, CrowdStrike's $80 off of that low, so trading really well. Some of these names getting those really nice bounce backs. So yeah, you can see that kind of reflecting here in the SPY. Let's see how much we're up here off those. So about 3.5, 3.25 there, I guess. 3/4, sorry. But yeah, SPY, I like it. You can see that we were down 10, 12%, whatever it may be from the peak to the low here, 10%. And now starting to pull back a little bit. Are you ready to start buying here? I don't know about that. This could just be a breath in the market here, guys. We can climb a little bit higher. Sharif mentioned just running into the prior support and resistance zones, and then you curl back over. I think that's going to be the case. There's been nothing from a pivot standpoint that says, hey, Joe, we're ready to turn around. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Nice, bro.
Pardon me? Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I just don't see that just yet. I could be obviously wrong, guys. Things can start to squeeze if people started to flip their bias, they were short, and then now you climb a little bit higher than some individuals and traders were expecting, then you squeeze through. But I do believe that we hit into some resistance levels and curl back over and test this area. I think it's going to be a turbulent year, especially with the tariffs and everything along those lines. It's going to be big and falling a lot on earnings as well too, so we want to see how that's reflecting. But yeah, that's my take on SPY. I don't know if I'd be buying right here. There's individual names, obviously, that I'm looking to recover as well, but it's already up 4% off those lows. And so I talked about Hood. We love Hood. It's working out really well. Nice recovery, great report, great Q4. 46% from the peak here all the way down to these current lows, and then now you're up a couple of percentage points. So we like those names that have just been battered and bruised and don't necessarily deserve it. But yeah, that's it. We're ready for Neil's lesson of the day, brother.
Oh, baby.
Let's go.
Are we ready for the lesson of the day? I don't know, man. what was jokes is like Sharif a second ago was like, oh man, Neil, you getting hot too? Because I was like, wipe my face. I like to take the makeup off in the middle of the day. That's your lesson of the day. And no, it actually had nothing to do with that, the lesson of the day. It just comes down to sometimes adjusting your execution plan. I'm going to work backwards here for a second because there's actually no choice but to do so, because I actually didn't think this was going to happen until I thought this might happen after we got in. I'm going to show you Palantir, and right now, all right, move my bid to the north side of 65. Just try to get some out in front of this little bit of a dip. You can kind of see this is a trend break of the entire day. But note a couple of things here. There's a parabolic trend break, which I didn't get. It comes back to retest that high. It's at a supply zone on the daily. We've shown that already previously. And it hadn't broken the trend. I'm like, I'm just going to nibble in because so many times I'm missing trades that I really love. So I'm going to alter the execution plan to try to get in on the way as it's starting to work as opposed to completely missing it out. And the reason for that was in real time QBTS. Because on QBTS, which admittedly this was supposed to be my stock today, and obviously is not, because I missed getting any fill at that short and I missed getting the top. I was in when it made the lower high, it went right into previous resistance, did one heck of a trend break, and was unable to get filled on that trend break. You can see how steep it is, and that's what happens when something breaks trend in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the day. It can be violent. Try to grab it under VWAP, got a partial fill, couldn't get more, then went into like a long, which I didn't give enough room because it wasn't at the level I liked, and when it did get the level I liked, I didn't like the long. It would have been an okay long, but it's more about if you miss out on this trade, there's a chance to get VWAP, there's a chance to get in there. What's the execution plan that I can get? Well, I saw it make the topping tail candle. If I'm anticipating a good break, you could get in a quarter of your position or 20% of your position, whatever, as it's making that move in anticipation of the break. That way you don't completely miss it out if it happens really, really fast. Now, the flip side of that is, well, you could get into a Palantir like I did, and it doesn't really super accelerate, allowing me to add when it breaks the trend line. So, but if it hadn't done so, well, then I would have been able to grab this at 89, the 89.30s, and get that quick like 70-cent scalp or whatever, or get the dollar if it gives our next fill. Sometimes you have to react to the way the market is treating you as opposed to only what you would like to have happen. Let me get another bid in here in the 60s because should have taken another out there and I didn't. You've got to be able to adjust an execution plan. It's all well and good to say, I like a trend reversal. Let's see what happens when it breaks the trend. But if I find myself, and this is the second day in a row that it happened, that I'm missing the trade, then I've got to make some kind of adjustment to my plan. And it wasn't just QBTS. It was also 2 days ago Reddit, where, and if you were watching the morning show 2 days ago, you'd remember that I said Reddit, we'll try it at 108, the previous day low, and then at 105, I want a mean revert. Well, I went to punch, did not get it all, did not want to chase, and then Reddit did this. So I had to ask yourself, okay, well, what's the adjustment to the execution plan? Well, it's to get a little bit of a nibble in, and then when the fill happens, because it's making the bottom and you're anticipating the trend break, so it makes the bottom where you want to or makes the top where you want to, okay, well then get in a small piece. And then when it breaks the trend, then get in more at that point as it's starting to go for you even more. And that's the thing that I'm going to try to adjust for sure. When I find myself in these kind of stocks where a couple of days in a row, I'm not getting what I want out of the trade, then you don't have to throw out the plan. The long was right on Reddit. Why would I throw out the plan just because I didn't get everything I wanted there? Why would I throw out the plan on QBTS just because I didn't really get the short that I want entry? No, the call was right. The idea was right at the level. It's the execution plan that you just need to change a little bit. And so when that happens, I'm not saying there's always going to be an easy answer that you can figure out the day after, but every now and then there is going to be something you can do. And that's what we try to do here on Palantir. The market's trying to tell you something every single day. All you have to do is listen. Having an idea of what to get into, where, and what direction is only part of it. You still have to execute the trade, and that is always going to be a work in progress that has to be nimble and flexible to the market conditions and the way it's trading. So thankfully, it's working out here. I'm going to throw you guys back to the boys, and that's your lesson of the day. Good luck in your trading. The good trade on that Tesla bounced off 230. I was waiting for 229 like a sucker for some reason, Joe. I forgot to tell
Crypto
the
events, yeah.
Biggest crypto giveaway.
What?
Yeah, dude.
See if it is.
Sharif, you're muted.
just one
Yeah,
sec,
yeah, you're muted. No, don't listen to what we're saying. We're just,
Hold on, this
yeah,
is
yeah.
Strategy's actual website, brother.
Yeah, I know, but-
That can't be fake. It's like their actual YouTube and it's verified.
Dude, they're good these days. I'm telling you.
I understand
Was it
that,
play-
but
Yeah, I
you
know you
can't
reported
hack
on
the-
that. I know you reported on it, but when you scan that QR code and it says crypto giveaway,
Yeah, he's giving something away. What do you want, bro? Can't give anything away? Here,
yeah, there.
I'm gonna go to a different stream.
Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, they're good with it now these days, bro.
Interesting.
Yeah. See?
Yeah, he's sitting. Okay, he's standing over here. You're right. And then he's sitting over here. I'm not gonna show it because we don't want that to become a problem. But this one has way more viewers. That's what I don't get. Like, look at that, 20,600. This one has 997.
Right.
So interesting. We'll see. All right, guys, let's see the trades that we got on at the moment. We got that fill finally here on PSTV at 105. This is the 10 exponential moving average on the 10-minute chart. So I'm going to look for this one to be to basically be over here or to defend this area at around that 105 level. I don't mind defending into that dollar. VWAP is far below the dollar, so I won't be defending into VWAP. But the dollar will be the line in the sand for me. But I did get that ad at 105. Let's see what comes of that. Poet still holding the volume weighted average price, and it's been holding it since 11:30. So we're going on 35 minutes of it straddling the volume weighted average price from the high side. That's the good news. The bad news is there's no bid. There's no bid to pop it up and take it above that $0.50 and basically all the areas I've got my orders layered at. So we'll see how this one ends up doing. I'm talking about POET. It's really good to start the day, good bull flag, but since that time, it's been basically off the highs and then consolidative at the volume weighted average price. PSTV, we did well on this one, looking for a move back up. I'm waiting at $1.15. We got $1.08. This is the second trade on it. We kind of exhausted all the shares that we had initially at that buck. Where was I long? Oh, yeah, it was $1.08, took out that $1.25, and now I'm back in to defend that 10 exponential moving average on PSTV. Showing me 10s now. How many shares do I have? Let me have a look over here so I can see how many orders I can layer. Yeah, I can layer some orders, baby. So we're gonna hang out here at 12. We can take some out there. RGC just rocketed up off the volume weighted average price. Shout out to that guy who tagged me, who's been holding this since $10. That's insane. I'm very jealous. That's why I say it that way, because I just wouldn't have the compunction to hold on to this from $10 into $41. That's just not the nature of these stocks. They don't usually do this well for this long. You've been holding it for a week and a day. I think you said you've been holding it since last Wednesday. Good on you, my man. In any event, it's been holding VWAP like a dang glove. If you've had the ability to get into this, and I say you've had the ability because I haven't, because the spread is prohibitive here, and you're doing real well on it. If you got the prints in and around that 38 and a quarter, 38 and a third, where the volume weighted average price is, you're printing up multiple storms here because we just took out $41. That's well off the high, though. 44.50 is the high of the day, so we'll have to see if this bad boy can continue moving on up. Back to PSTV, waiting for that 12th print. Bang! We'll take that out, Joseph. All right, now we're waiting at 15s. Let's see if PSTV wants to defend the 10 exponential, my man. How's it going on?
Yeah, good look there, Sharif. Yeah, people in the chat are like, yeah, it's most likely a scam.
Yeah,
just when you scan the QR code. But dude, they're getting good with it. I'm telling you, man.
It's on the strategy website, YouTube page. How did they hack that?
I don't
that's
know,
Google.
Man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm old, bro. I can fall for these scams.
It's funny. I was talking to my buddy yesterday, and he fell for one of the scams and gave up his SIM card twice over the phone. Not once, but twice. Yeah, to some dudes in Montreal. Yeah, how is a great question. When he told me the story, and it's funny. There was an NFL player who came and played for Ricky Williams.
Of course,
right,
he played for the
Dude,
Argos.
And
yeah.
he told me, he's like, yeah, I was talking to this agent on the phone. He said his name was Ricky Williams. I'm like, there's no way, Will. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, poor guy.
Was he high? Because Ricky Williams is about that life.
Is he
hold on. I thought he stopped.
I don't know.
Yeah, Ricky Williams was.
I don't know about him.
Like all about that green life, right? And then like he cut it off because they kept suspending him.
Oh, really?
Don't you remember? They kept throwing suspensions his way
in the CFL too. No,
I don't know. I remember with Miami they were.
But he was pretty good too, wasn't he? He was all right. So
he was a monster. What was he like? 225, 230?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Big boy for a running back.
Which I found, which was funny. He fell for it twice. Not Ricky Williams twice, but that one time. And as soon as he said that, I started laughing. We had to get it switched. But yeah, here we go, guys. The market is starting to pull back in a little bit. We are holding VWAP, so we're going to wait for some indecision candles around these levels and then join the participation to the top side. The thing is, I got out of Tesla. If we can pull up my screen here real quick, I got out of Tesla at the break even. So you can see I punched in and then I doubled up the size and then we took some out. And then as I seen the tape flip, I'm like, let me take a little bit more out here just in case we come back to the break even. And sure enough, it did. So yeah, we'll be patient. I do believe we'll break this support level here and then get another retest of the lows. And if we decide to hold that, then I'll have enough conviction to hop back in. But it does look like a lot of names want to break down here. Bitcoin continuing to sell now south of $48. We're running through some support levels on Hood here. So, but the positive note is, guys, is that buyers are starting to engage again in the market. So you can see that we're getting these rallies at the open. We didn't see that for a couple of weeks. And now they step in at VWAP holds. They might not right now. The market is pulling in slightly aggressively. But one thing to also note here, guys, is just the volume on the 5-minute time frame. You can see it nice, strong, and steady here. And then as we pull back in the latter half or in the afternoon hours of the session, that volume's really starting to die off. So that is a positive signal that buyers might re-engage in a bit here, guys, but I don't think so right now. But we also got the Playmaker poll up here. I know which way I'm voting today. We got another $5 super chat. Thank you very much, DJ2AM. You got to send me some of those Dolph mixtapes. Sending just because. Happy Thriving Thursday. We love that one. Today's another great day to be alive. Yes, it is a great day to be. Every day is a great day to be alive. You guys keep doing a great job. You two chat. Yeah, every day is a good day. So yeah, man. Even though it's not really, but you got to look at it like that. But yeah, it's all reality. You can't take things for granted. But yeah, guys, we're waiting for this level to be broken, any indecision, or if the volume starts to pick up, then we'll look to participate. We always want a better price here, guys. So a crack through, liquidity grab. We are constructing lower highs here as well, too. So if we don't break through that, then I would suggest that we might crack through here, and that's what we're going to wait for. I'll be a little bit more patient. It's unfortunate that Bitcoin is continuing to decline here. I thought we were going to hold and continue that rally, but not. And I know a lot of individuals in the chat were talking about PLTR high levels of OI at 90, and where was our high of the day? 89, 81. So you can see that coming into play very well as just now too, guys. So I can't talk either, but yeah. Good luck. I know I started to notice in the chat you guys are mentioning open interest quite often and quite a bit since we really started to hone in on it and use it from, especially in this turbulent market, use it for price levels that reject and that we bounce off there, Sharif. So.
All right. PSTV, we wet the beak there at 13s, but this one is zigging and zagging now. Okay, a little bit below the 10 exponential, a little bit above. It's found itself in this kind of consolidative look with about $1.15 to the high side, $1.05 to the downside. That could change in a second because it does look like it might lose 105. I will add into that $1 area to see if I can get a better price, but that kind of will be my line in the sand. I'm not going to be DCAing below the dollar. Let's see how this one ends up doing. We've taken some out, but we're still holding the majority of the position on PSTV. As the same way, we are holding the majority of the position. In fact, almost all the position on POET keeps going into the volume weighted average price and bouncing. Nothing for me to do at this level. I'm not going to be adding. And I won't be taking out anything less than $4.45. We'll have to see how that ends up doing. I see another trade here, AEVA, not one that I've said much about today. It is up on the day about 33%. The only reason I'm even talking about something that looks like this is because it just double bottomed off VWAP. So that 406, 405 area, and now it's moving right back up into that 415. It doesn't really look like it's got a lot of volume supporting the move, but here we go. It's almost into 420. We were just at 405. Now we're almost at 420. There is 420. So good strength there. I guess I should have punched in. I missed that one. So AEVA, another one that I've been looking at, but it's kind of been very tightly trading here between 425 essentially and 410 for the most part. It did dip into that 405, but I saw it late, so nothing doing there. Back to POET, still hanging out at that level, and PSTV still above 105. Beanie, Sharif, can you check AGH, please? Absolutely. Very polite. Let's have a look at AGH. What is this company? Arias Greenway Holdings. Sure. Okay, so why doesn't it load here? I should connect these two bad boys. Right? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do, Joseph. We're going to flip this to purple. So, AGH Holdings. There we go. Hey, bro. Don't you want to change? Not you. I'm talking to the computer over here.
What's up, bro?
$14.4 million market cap. 4 million shares traded with a float of 0. Doesn't have a float. No shares. Let's find out from Trade Ideas what the float is. Okay, 2.35 million. Not bad, okay. So we got a smaller float here. This one was monstrous yesterday. Look at that rocket ship up. So the reason I didn't know about this one is it looks like it started out its life south of that dollar and only broke the dollar in the aftermarket. So I don't know if this was an after the market small cap gapper to take advantage of the no volatility halt parameters, or whether it was an earnings report. I'm not even going to bother looking. In any event, the high of the day yesterday is $1.14. The high today is 109. I don't trade this. I'll consider this aftermarket high in the same way I would consider the pre-market high from today. I want to clear these bag holders that could be up here into that $1.14. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to throw an alert. If this comes into $1.12, I want to know about it. And when it does come into that level, we can make a decision. But AGH, good look, well above the 10, well above VWAP. It's nice in the sense that it kind of has multiple bull flags. A pop up, consolidation, pop up, consolidation, and you guessed it, another pop up and another consolidation. Let's see if this consolidation holds above $1. So if I'm not telling you how to trade, but personally, I'd be trying to get in 101, 102, $1, and that way I know where my line in the sand was. If it lost, like, say, 97 pennies, I'm out, right? and then I could try to take this continuation up above that $1.09. So AGH, not a bad trade at all, quite frankly, and this one might earn its way onto the side chart, depending on what these other bad boys do. Actually, it's earned its way because WINT lost VWAP, so AGH takes its place, and we'll throw in the ticker on the side there. Thank you for that call out. Sometimes I don't see these ones that are sub $1, and it always helps when the chat, you know, who trade small cap gappers as well help out with that. So more thankful I could not be for that call out. So that's made its way onto the side chart. How we doing here on PSTV? We're still holding the 10. We're putting in a bit of a higher low, but not necessarily higher highs. I'm waiting at $1.15 here on PSTV. Let's see what comes of that. Poet is boring me to death. I hate that when it just straddles VWAP like that and then drops the volume. See, the thing is about this one, I'm always caught between two minds. Okay, so it's holding VWAP. So I say to myself, well, why isn't it losing VWAP? Someone must be buying it at VWAP. Then I look at the volume, and there's like no volume. So I say to myself, oh, you know, the buyers will come in. They'll see that it's straddling VWAP, and then they'll buy it up, and it'll move up and print my targets, and then we end up losing VWAP. So I'm always, you know, unsure what to do here when we just hang out at VWAP so tight, because that is one of my rules. I trade these above VWAP, and then what if it holds VWAP? Then I'll feel like an idiot for having taken it out. So I'm caught between two minds usually when this kind of thing happens, and it's doing it right now on Poet. We'll have to see how this one trades. AIFF, man, Work Sport, one of the sponsors of the show, into the high of the day. Pardon me? Firefly, excuse me, Firefly, AIFF. Big move up into 584. That is the high of the day. Someone was asking me earlier about the look on this when I said it's very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average, and it is. Putting in higher lows and higher highs. Fantastic look right now, Joseph, on AIFF.
Yeah, good look there, guys. I hopped in and out of Tesla real quick. I just didn't like my entry. It can break higher, but I hopped in the TQs. I have a little bit more conviction with it in this, but I mean the downtrend, the trend is to the downside. So if we crack this right here, I'm just going to get out of the trade 61.13. I would have liked to have been at the break of it again, just positioning a slightly hesitant on that entry, and then sure enough, that's what happens. It does look like Tesla's going to break these highs, though, which right where I punched out. And the thing is here, guys, what I wanted was the bottom of this range, and I don't really want to mess up too much because we traded it really well here in the morning. But again, I have to get in at the low end of the trade and not be buying into resistance, even though it does seem it wants to break out. And you can see the strength on the time of sales. But again, I just don't want to be punching in right here. From a risk to reward standpoint, I like getting in at the lower end of the range, considering it is holding. But let's see what the overall market is going to do. It can just curl right over under VWAP as well, so we have to just continue to monitor that. But yeah, TQ's not looking too good, so that's all right. We'll hold this. I believe that we can hold this level, and if you do have some indecisions, that could be a possibility to add, and then you can continue to the top side. But we are pulling in slight aggressively here. Bitcoin continuing its decline. NVDA couldn't get through 120. We looked at the open interest on that front. Amazon selling a little bit more here as well. Palantir rejecting 90. So the options market really coming into play here today, guys. So yeah, keep those chains open and look for those high levels. What's everybody up to? If you want us to go over something, oh yeah. So Saeed Fast, long of resistance. What do you think, and what should I be careful of before trying that? Long of resistance. I don't really understand there. Long into resistance. Maybe is what you're asking. What do you think, and what should I be careful of before trying that? So what I think here is if you're buying into resistance, you're looking for the breakout. And what do we need for breakouts? You need volume and momentum to kind of break through those levels. So that's all I can really ask you. Stevenson says, Joseph Sharif, Bear Bros Fools, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Great show. Lessons, transparency, everything along those. I appreciate that. And if there's anything you guys want me to go over, just put it in the chat. Intel Put says Giovanni. Nice, right? Yeah, I like that. I can agree with that. Tesla flying cars. I think Sharif would know a little bit more than that. But yeah.
eVTOLs, baby. eVTOLs.
Okay, so Joe, you just answered your question on going into the trade. If you already know that the trend is down, then go with the trend, my friend. Yeah, I mean, that's the uniqueness of trading. You can trade how you would like to. I can go with how I want to. If we break here, then I'll just get out of the trade. I'm looking for the rebound. Yeah, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. And just like that, you get out. The thesis is invalid. You're right. Go follow that trend to the downside. But I'm also looking for the rebound. So, yeah, to each their own, I guess. But yeah, here we go. Standard QBTS Pug Life. Each Thursday before quad witching can be very volatile. I agree with you. Speaking of volatility, let's take a look at the VIX. I'm sure it's starting to pick up here. Oh, I don't even know why I do that. Okay, so we'll take a look at the VIX here before we send it back to my guy and see if it has started to go on the incline. So yeah, sure enough, you can see a nice inverse correlation between the VIX and the overall market. As we trade higher in the first hour of the session, the VIX slightly drops, and then now that we're continuing to the downside, the VIX is starting to pick up there. So yeah, that is the fear index. Sharif starting to pick up a little bit here.
Yeah, it's tanking, Katina, man. It defended 230 though. Yeah, 230. Yeah, bro. It popped into 230. It popped into 230, bro. It tanked, and now it's at 232. The Katina man's back from the swim. Just apprising him of what's going on. I should probably apprise myself of how to type on a keyboard because I just took out everything again on PSTV incorrectly, so I punched in at highs. I was long 105, now I'm long 119 because we took everything out 119. So I said to myself, look, if this is going to break out above 125, just punch back in. So now I'm going to have to find myself in the position of punching in at highs or having to DCA and defend that dollar again. So mistake by me. I really need to fix this problem. But anyway, profitable on it, but looking to do a little bit better right now on PSTV. Long 119s, a bit of a mistake there, but looking to wet the beak in front of the actual high of the day at 125. Showing 17s right now. Still packing my patience here on Poet. Still holding the 10 exponential or the volume weighted average price. What's going on? Yes, you got the fill. I assumed you did. The Katina man took $7 in the money there on that Tesla trade at the bottom, popping back up into 232, but still very weak on the day. The worst performing Mag 7 name by far, Tesla 1 1/3 in the negative. You got Apple down 0.25%. Goggles is down 1/2 or 3/4, depending if you're looking at Google or Google. Netflix is down. Meta, the best performing Mag 7 on the day, bar none, 3.25%. Look good, look there. Uber's up 2 1/3, Softy flat. Amazon up 1/5, and Nvidia up 1 1/4, 1 1/5 right now, currently zigging and zagging. We'll see how it ends up closing on the day. GTC conference today, guys. Quantum names in focus. We'll try to give you the information as we get it from that GTC conference. Ooh, AGH just tanked. Where's that one that I had on the side chart there? Okay.
Oh my God.
We'll just we'll bring that in over here. AGH was one of the ones you guys gave me, sub $1 that was working its way up to that $1.12. And the reason I didn't trade this because I had the feeling that the aftermarket trade into the high, that 114 high that we put in at around 4:30 yesterday would keep us down. So I kind of considered this aftermarket high the same as the pre-market high. So I wouldn't trade it until it clears at 114. It comes into that 109. Now it's below $1 again. Still above VWAP though. That 90 penny area could be money for those who don't want or don't care about trading this north or south of $1. That is the volume weighted average price area, and there's also price action support. Previously resistance at that 90 penny area. I'm talking about AGH. Good look on that one on the day, but giving back some now. PSTV still zigging and zagging at the highs. Look, I'm going to have to work my way back into this one in a bit more of a clever way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait at 12s over here for the ad, because something tells me this is not going to go up in a straight line. If it does, we've got beak wetters to take advantage of that. So PSTV, fat finger by me, but I'm going to try to make up a little bit for it by working my way into this one. Again, Joe, what are you doing?
Yeah, same thing. So nice work there for Katina Manny's posting that trade on X. Yeah, and here we go, Gaurav. I know you're trying multiple attempts, but now that we have to realize this, it's like, hey, it's not working on the 1 minute, so we have to go to a higher time frame and wait for that confirmation. I think that's the game plan. I'm not saying that we can't recover, but we are quite a ways below VWAP, which can now act as possible resistance. So we'll just keep that in mind there, guys. So let's see what we got going on with Tesla. It is still holding up relatively well. I'm glad that we traded it. I mean, That's a prime example how traders can make money both ways on an underlying asset. I truly thought Katina Man was long on Tesla this morning, and I'm like, all right, yeah, nice. I'm about to go long too. But he was actually short, but now he's making money on it as well. And we made some here with that long side trade, and then we had an additional one, and then we're 2 for 3 on it as we head into some resistance zones. So it's just taking a little bit more time. And Gaurav, those prints are continuously coming into play. So it's a good sign, but they're not being respected on the lower time frame. So yeah, we're gonna have to. And I went through the Mag 7 just now as well to see, hey, what is really dragging it down? And I don't find anything, so it might be a breadth issue. Some of the mid caps dragging it down. But again, once we blow through signal 1, signal 2, yeah, we might turn around. But again, I'm not going to go on an engulfing candle here, right here. I want to see something definitive and say, hey, Joseph, we're ready to turn around. And I just don't see that happening right now. It may happen, it may not. So we just got to be a little bit more patient. What is the catalyst for the downtrend? I mean, it's just yeah, there you go. So they go tariffs. Joseph, Tesla going momentum with the market at the lows. I mean, it's holding relatively well. The market was selling. The market was rallying. Tesla was selling, and now it's kind of just ahead of it, holding relatively stronger. There is some key pre-market levels that are coming into play right now that we can see. So you can see that base, that support system that's been putting in. So someone's clearly defending 231 as the market continues to go lower and lower. So yeah, good look there on Tesla from Katina Man. He might get that second leg to the downside, and it could get pretty ugly as everything else continues to just sell off here. Microsoft was strong in the open. Apple was as well too. I went over that one, but now they're just all through VWAP, and we're heading into opening prices here, guys.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on anything coming in intraday here that could be, oh, I don't have the TV turned on. Oh, crap, I totally forgot to do that. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye out on that. I'm just looking at the news blotter. Nothing really of note due to respond to deportations. Nah, that ain't it, obviously. Just looking for anything market related. So I'll have a quick scan of that in a moment. Still holding on to this PSTV trade. I added at 15s. I'll be looking to add again at 12s, essentially to defend that 10 exponential moving average on the 5. We'll see if it pops up off that. It's still kind of putting in higher lows, higher highs, defending that dollar, but it is a lower high. So this area crest, a little bit lower, obviously, than that quarter dollar. So if it loses that, if it loses 105, this could be trouble, because that's an area defend right there. You can see that's where I picked it up off originally, and it was basically just kind of very tightly trading in that level. So if it does lose that 105 level, I think that I will get out and look to that dollar level. Joseph, who are we paying?
Oh, we're paying Trade the Pool, my friend. Our friends from Trade the Pool are back on Trader TV Live. Trade the Pool is a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using company capital. That means no more risking your savings. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited trading period during the evaluation phase. No pressure, no rushing. Take your time, perfect your strategy, and get funded on your terms, all right? Remember, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee, and your profits are unlimited. Head to tradethepool.com and start trading now, guys. There you go. Scan the QR code, Trade the Pool. We were morning. I like the fact that they were referring to volume. I keep an eye out on volume and how it affects the stock price. We got into trades on Tesla exactly regarding that, and we're going to do the same throughout our tenure here trading. Sharif, is there?
All right, sir. Yep. So this one looks like it is defending for now. So sadly, didn't get the fill on PSTV at that $1.12. We did get that $1.15. So now our cost basis of 18s. Let's go ahead and wait at 20. See if we can get anything in and around there. I've got orders layered at 20 and then 23, and then we're going to save a piece for the dream if it wants to pop back up. Yeah. So I'm going to get out of this entire thing over here if it does pop up into that level. So I'm going to go ahead and put 437 because I'm done nursing Poet. So I'm just going to take out everything there if it pops up into my break-even level. Here we go on PSTV. Looks like we're putting in higher lows and higher highs right now. Here comes 19. I'm waiting at 20s. Let's see. There's the print. There's the print. Boom! Into the high of the day we go. All right, let's see if we can take some at 28s over here. PS dang TV. holding the 10 exponential like a glove. Let's see if we can get that print though. So I'm still waiting at 12s. I don't mind getting a dip trade on this one. This one's shown already its strength, but I'd like to see if we can get a little bit higher here than that $1.25. Sorry, that $1.28. That is the current high of the day. Here we go with 123s again. Let's see if we can get a little bit more into that 130-ish area. If we knock on the door of that, that could help me out greatly. 140% now in the green as PSTV. Shout out to Nimit and shout out to Bren Rex for pointing this one out to me. Didn't have eyes on it until you guys showed it to me, so I certainly appreciate that. Ugly topping tail candle though, right now manifesting on the 5. It's not what I want to see. I'd like to see more continuation, but that is kind of inherent in the DNA of these small cap gappers. Keep your eye on what matters. What matters is it's holding areas of support that you perceive to be areas of support. And me, I always trade them off the 10 exponential or VWAP, obviously. And right now, it's basically really respecting that 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So we'll look to do a little bit better on this one. If we can get something a little bit in the higher 20s, it would certainly help my cause. Poet. You ain't no poet, bro. And we just got stopped out of that for a loser. Wow, that was really annoying. I added into that a million times into VWAP, and it didn't hold any level. So lesson learned or not learned. We'll wait and see. I'll tell you tomorrow whether I've learned my lesson or not. So back to the one where we're actually doing well on, PSTV. Let's see if this one can take out that $1.30, Joe.
Yeah, good luck there, Stevenson. Would you say it happened again? As soon as I go ahead and take my little profit, we tanked 3 minutes later. I exited SPY QQs at 12:39 just to get it dumped. I was waiting on just a little while and boot. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And Gaurav and I were talking about it. Look at BC. You are impressed, says Sebastian. Okay. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin's starting to tank. We held 49.50 relatively well. So, yeah, here we go. We're waiting for these lows to hold here, guys, and if we don't get them, then that'll be okay. I'm not going to be overly worried on that front. So, yeah. Speaking of Tesla, I noticed on the options chain for 6/18/2016, there's about 150 open contracts on 96. Okay, I'm assuming you mean 2026 because that would be close to a decade ago. If you're referring to 2016, sir, Pubi. Paper hands. But yeah, seems a bit wacky. Any thoughts? 15 open interest calls at 960. I mean, that's interesting, right? There's not much I can say other than pulling that up. Maybe that's still over a year away, year and a half close to. So yeah, if 960, 950, maybe someone's really buying, well, I guess someone is buying those out the monies thinking that Tesla can appreciate to those levels. So yeah, that's the name of the game. And Maxter, BTC to 92,500. We're headed south there, my friend. We're not going the other way. We're not going the other way. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out on this. Let's see what we got going on. TQs and NQ, we're not holding these lows really well. So I think that this primary trend to the downside is fully intact. So got to be really patient if you're going to wait for that bounce. All right. So yeah, that's my game plan. Going to be really just holding risk, wait for that that primary, that A+ setup to come in and around these times of the day and see if we can get a bounce back into the volume weighted average price. All right. Yeah. And I know he meant 2026, right? I figured that's paper hands. So yeah. Again, someone is paper hands. Yeah. So yeah. If again, people are placing bets out there. They think that Tesla can go to $1,000 in a year and a half. So that's going to honestly add $1 trillion in market cap there, which I don't know if it's going to happen. It doesn't look like that, but anything can happen, absolutely. So yeah, we'll be patient. We're not going to grab the lows here. Waiting for this pullback to the volume weighted average price, Sharif, some indecision at the lows, and then we're going to get into some of these trades here.
All right, I'm happy with how I traded PSTV over there. We've got top wick there at $1.30. Well, it's not technically top wick. I got 135. It's 136 a high of the day. It's still well above the 10 exponential. Shout out to my man Nimit. Nimit wants the face slapping animation, Katina man, because he said he gave it to me and didn't trade it himself, so he's disappointed. There it is, Nimit. You asked for it, you got it. The Katina man has got that on his stream deck and he hooked you up, so you can shout him out for that. So yeah, PSTV continuing to go, guys. This is the best looking stock right now in small cap gapper world. We're going to take out that dollar dip, but we're going to leave a new dip trade right now. We're going to put it at $1.17. We're not going to let this one off the hook. Let's go ahead and wait at 117s. to shadow the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. This has been very respectful of that 10 exponential. Shout out to UCSFCU. He was asking me what the hell the 10 exponential means. Is it the same as a 10 EMA? And I said, yes, absolutely. A follow-up. Do you use the EMA or MA? Does it make much of a difference? I have a bit of an opinion on that. I use EMA for intraday trades because it more heavily weights the recent price action, whereas the moving average, a simple moving average, will give each period an equal weight. So what happened 14 days ago or 14 periods ago is the same, weighted the same, that is, as the one that happened 1, 2, and 3 ago. Whereas the EMA, again, more heavily weights the recent period. So I have a bias that I use EMA for intraday. I know the Katina Man and the Neil, they like the simple for the most part, and it works for them just fine. So I think that, you can employ it in different ways. I use it as an EMA. AIFF, though, guys, shout out to Firefly Neurosciences, one of the sponsors on the show, just came back into the volume weighted average price over here. It's a bit of a widespread 549 right now. I'm going to try to get filled maybe mid-print at 55s. It doesn't have me, and then it pops right back up. Kind of annoying there. That's okay. So AIFF has been quite respectful for the most part of the moving averages as well as the volume weighted average price. Is putting an upward channel. There we go. We got filled at 55s. Now the loss of the 40 penny level, which is below VWAP, so I'm giving myself some room there, will get me out of this trade. So we're gonna go ahead and wait just like that. And then we're gonna layer the orders. So we're in at 55s. Let's see if we can get something around here, and then we'll layer the orders as such. So that's the situation right now on AIFF. I've been trying to pack my patience, wait for the right level for this one to come in. Poet is gonna haunt me at night. I'm telling you that. It will haunt me at night. I don't know, man. I just hate these ones that stair step down and then don't hold. They kind of make you feel like, oh, VWAP's going to hold, and then no, VWAP doesn't hold, and it ends up tanking. So that's the situation. Back to PSTV. Sorry, I got to jump in between all these because I'm trading all of them at the same time. I put a new trade right now on for PSTV at that 10 exponential. I know I'm kind of testing my luck here because these small cap gappers hang around for a good time, not a long time, but so long as it's putting in higher highs and higher lows, respecting that 10 exponential, I'll feel comfortable punching into this one. AGH as well. We talked about this one. It was a mover in the aftermarket yesterday. Not much of a pre-market move at all, if any, today. In fact, it kind of tanked, but it is coming real close. That pre or aftermarket high, I should say, at $1.14 yesterday. I've put my alert at $1.12, and look at this. It's hanging out at that $1.10. We're putting in higher lows. So this could be another bull flag over here, looking to continue above that level. If it takes a high of the day, I'll know about it because I've thrown out my alert there. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at AGH, PSTV, and AIFF, Joseph.
Yes, good luck there, my friend. You can see that we're posted up here on the TQs, so hopefully we get a fill. I was just trying to get a better price as we started to climb higher, and I'm like, oh, then it just went without me, and I'm not going to chase it up here. I want to be really strategic on my entries, and then now just everything from a risk to reward ratio, so it's tighter risk here as well too. So that's just what I want to look out for, and I'm going to hyper focus on. I'm not going to chase it. I do like that NVDA is starting to pull back, so maybe we catch this fill here at 6170s, and then maybe just climb higher, and that's the goal. We are breaking through resistance on Tesla, so that is a positive sign for the continuation to the top side. Even though we were selling in the pre-market session intraday standpoint, once we went open, then we were just hovering around those highs like the overall market. But yeah, here we go. Break through, that volume slightly kicking in. Nice curl over here. Now touching into VWAP, pulling back aggressively. So yeah, let's see if this can be sustained. Katina Man short. We are putting in a nice base. Multiple levels that are coming into play. Pre-market lows, pre-market support levels, etc. You can see that we have this previous this higher low as well. So see if this trend line can hold up. It is going to be messy. Tomorrow we have a lot of options contracts expiring. It's index options, futures contracts. The quad witching is tomorrow, so you're going to see a lot of volume right at the open. We are in the queues now, guys. If we break the low, then we're going to get out of the trade, and it's looking like we might, which is unfortunate. We tried to catch the bottom multiple times. Doesn't seem to be working. So let's see if 61.50 can hold, 45, sorry. And if it does, then I think we'll be okay, and we can get that climb a little bit higher and try to get back some of those gains that we had earlier in the session. So yeah, that's the look here on the TQQs, starting to pull back. I had a feeling as soon as we broke that, we get that pullback at this range, and then now we can hold this base. So we got that price that we wanted to, so it's just a matter if it comes into play or not. Let's take a look at the options chain and see what it is up to and what it's saying. Where we might head today, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
I want to know if we're going to continuously reject the market here at these highs, if there's any high level of OI.
like that.
Yeah, me neither. We don't like that, the rejection of the highs there. 484. So let's see what we got at 485, 7,000. Of course, that's what we have on today's expiration cycle with the highest levels of open interest. So just coming into a couple pennies close to that strike price. Again, we're getting that really nice bounce. Do we have a base? 470. Looking like a possible low, but that will not be good for that market. We want to find that next level, and that's 4,000 open contracts at 477. All right. I'm not saying those are going to come into play. There's only 4,000 compared to 7,000 on the call side, 4,000 on the put side. So there might be some more potential downside here in this sessions trading. All right. Yeah, Apple continuing to bleed here, guys. So yeah, I know it feels real good. As Apple it goes into the lows here with that opening drive, yeah, it does not feel real good whatsoever, but that's okay. Yeah, heading into these lows. So as long as these big names continue to bleed, Sharif, I believe it's going to drag the overall market down.
Absolutely agree with that, sir. RGC just halted down. Okay, so that's a bit of a problem here because it was just at $42. Now it's at $36.50. So whoever was trading this one, good on you. Like, yeah, you're obviously well in the money, having been holding this for over a week now. $10 is your cost basis. Dropped down and just lost VWAP on the day. Doesn't really mean a whole lot, especially for your trade holding this from 10. But anybody trading it intraday that was using the volume weighted average price as their guide, well, I don't even know if you got printed on your stop. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. VWAP's at 38.41. This halted, $2 below that 36.50. That is disgusting. RGC, should be ashamed of yourself. Shout out to my main man, Victor, for watching the show. Used to be a trader, actually, on the floor over here. We miss you around here, Victor. Shout out to you, my man. Yeah, definitely kill it today. He's a futures trader, so shout out to Victor. Hope you're doing well, buddy. And let me know how everything is going on your end. Back to PSTV over here. I'm looking at getting back in on this one again. I've set up my dip trade at the $0.25. It's not having me at the moment, so I'm punching in at highs, but small share size, looking to work my way in back at that $0.25. Now, I don't know why it didn't print me. This did cross below the $0.25, and the spread is 1 penny. So a little annoying there, but that's fine. We'll look to build another position into this one if it's possible over here. PSTV is the one that I'm talking about. It has a high a day of 136, but for the most part, not for the most part, exclusively, the closing prints have been below that $1.30. So keeping an eye on this one. Let's see if it's got more upside. Oh, baby. Here we go. It just took out the high, or the local high, that is. Let's hope it's not a bamboozling candle. I'm going to wait at 39s. Let's see if we can get something around 39s. Now, show me 32. As I mentioned, the high day is 36. Here comes 33. 34 incoming, question mark? Let's go. No, none. Not yet, not yet. So we'll pack our patience there. It is breaking out, though. It's a good move right now on PSTV, and you can see the tape. Look how the tape picks up in speed, right? And it usually does that when you get into areas of both support and resistance, because there's a lot of buy and sell orders in and around there. Here we go. We're at the high of the day again. $1.36 now is the high of the day. We just showed that high of the day there on the ask. No cross, though. It just gets into that level and then rejects again. Let's see if we're able to close, though, above $1.30. We just opened up this 5-minute candle, so we may not close above that. I just got stopped out. of AIFF. It's okay. We took very small size on this one to start for exactly this reason. It just lost VWAP on a closing basis, it looks like right now. We'll wait and see if that is the case or not. So no VWAP hold right now, sadly, on AIFF. Back to PSTV. We're still showing 34s here on the ask. I didn't actually get my dip trade at 28s, at 25. So I'm holding light over here on PSTV. So I'm going to be quite lofty in my profit-taking goals. 35 again on the ask. No cross, though. Let's see if we're able to get into 36. Nothing doing so far, but the volume is coming into this one, and it's actually maintaining a decent level of volume here. Average volume per 5-minute candle is around 3 million to 2.5 million, so not that bad of a look. RGC continuing to be halted over here. It just opened up. Okay, here we go. Dropping down into 35. RGC. Ooh, baby, that you can lose a whole lot of money super quick. This was just at $42.50. I'm not even looking at the high of the day. And now it's at $35. So $7 quick as you like, $8 quick as you like on that. It looks like it might lose 35. It's well below VWAP. I ain't touching this bad boy. Let's see what comes. Bang! There we go. We take out the top on PSTV, but we're light. As I mentioned, we're light on this one. So no more shares. None of the dip trades got filled. So we're going to have to cancel all these dip trades. I'm going to break this keyboard if I keep hitting it like that. So here we go. Now we're going to set up in front of a $1.30. So a $1.30 I perceive to be an area of resistance. So let's see if it wants to act as support this time. Let's wait here in front of 130. I'm going to wait at 131 for a possible retracement and a hold of the technical level. This one could squeeze now. It is a $1.42 high a day on PSTV. It's a rocket ship. Let's see if it continues to act in that manner. It's been very respectful, though, of the moving averages, of price action support and resistance. I mean, like, look at this. You got a big move up in the pre, and then it kind of tanked a little bit back down. And then, for whatever reason, this one didn't really get going at 9:30. It was like more of a 10 a.m. pop. And then it took the $1 area later in the day at around 11:30. And that's when we had notice of it when Nimit and the like were telling us about this one. So this one was tradable under my system essentially all day, but I didn't really have an eye on it until about that 11:40 time slot. And since that time, we're about 45% higher, because that was $1, and now we're at $1.45. So this thing's up 178%. Let's see if it keeps going in the same way it's been going. Eddie, those biceps have been real pain for your keyboard the last year. Yeah, bro. I hate this keyboard. But I'm a pretty stubborn person in general. And I like things that I may not actually like. Like, I don't like this keyboard.
Yeah, but you like it because it's yours.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, of course, man.
I don't know, man. Everyone's going to troll me now. But yeah, so I don't like change. Yeah. That's my problem. Yes. I'm not a big change type guy, right? So I'm leaving it the way it is right now. Yeah. There's better keyboards, though. Fabian's offered me a much better keyboard, like the one that the Katina man has there, which is a lot more comfortable. Say that again, Neil? These ones are terrible. Or the one that you have? The one I have, it's terrible. I know. I'm not trying to defend it at all, but I don't like change.
Yeah, that's it. That's fairly simple. I mean, what time is it?
That's what the keyboard says too about you. Yes, it does. The keyboard hates me, Eddie or Eduardo. Guys, we're really breaking out here on PSTV, man. Holy cow, $1.53. This is really going. Great look. This might halt to the upside right now. I'm talking about that $1.53 level. It's a $1.54 on the level. Okay, so it's a false halt. Rejects. Joseph, who are we paying?
Who's paying us? Who's paying? Ooh, okay, we got to pay some bills. OGen, guys. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Oragenics OGEN is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Oragenics, Oragen Revised. Scan the QR code there, guys. There it is. Yeah, I mean, here we go, continuing to bleed. Finally, Apple put in a bottom here, Sharif, holding that 5-minute opening drive low really, really well. So a double bottom potentially put in here. You can see for all your 5-minute orb traders, what a bounce off of 212.94. What is it our job to do after we see this bounce? So let's take a look at the options chain to see what the market is pricing in on AAPL and see if there's any high levels of open interest on the put side at 212 for this expiration cycle. All right, 210, 37,000 open contracts, 212, 9,000
What's the trading
open
view
contracts.
one that you had?
It doesn't have OI on it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you can't access that.
Doesn't
It just
have
has the
it,
chain. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have it. I'm sure if you connect something to it, it will, but just not.
True.
Yeah. So yeah, that is that look here, guys. On Apple, a nice little bounce. We're gonna hold on to this NVDA, but unfortunately, it just looks like it's a breath here before it wants to take another leg lower. You can see that we're not really pushing price up on the 5-minute time frame. So you can see we'll just mark out this ABCD type pattern. So A, B, C, D, and then it looks like it wants to put in another one. So hopefully we can crack and run into about 118.80s, but it does look like we want to break the low, and that's exactly what I'm risking as we look for a potential bounce in this name. Wow, IBIT is still just slowly bleeding off here, guys. 47.55. I was having a little bit more conviction yesterday's strength and the price action pattern as well. It's like, hey, we might continue and run into the higher 80s, but it doesn't look to seem to be the case here today. 47.52, holding some of these pre-market lows from a couple sessions ago and some of the daily lows as well too, guys. But a lot of these big names are starting to rebound. It's unfortunate that there's still some selling pressure on NVDA. You can see that from the selling candle pressure here, guys. Sorry. So it's like a topping tail type price action. And then as we push higher, it just continuously push down. So we need that volume to really step in, and then I think we can break through. You can see that we are starting to dwindle off. It's 1 o'clock, right? So this is usually lunchtime on Wall Street, so those guys aren't doing too much. Apple continuing to bleed, but getting somewhat of a bounce here, and it broke through some key levels, and just once it broke VWAP, it just continued to move to the downside. So not really great for that momentum. But here we go. I think 118.41 could be a potential target. You can see how it was acting as support here. We might run it into as resistance. If not, if we can punch through, go mid-range, and then go to that next level, which would be 118.60, I believe. But only time will tell, and we're going to need buyers to step in here, Sharif.
AGH touched that 114 level, which was the aftermarket high yesterday. I did get the alert because I had my alert at $1.12, but look what it did. It rejected $1.14. I don't think that's the end of the matter, though, because it's still putting in higher highs and higher, well, not higher highs, but certainly higher lows, and holding above the 10 exponential, and also holding above the 1. I don't trade this until it gets above $1.14. That's the look. PSTV, bless you, Neil, halted to the upside. So this was a false halt on the way up, drop back down, and then pop right back up for the actual halt. It is halted at $1.53. The halt time, let's zoom in a little bit like that. Let's just expand that time slot a little bit so you can get a better look. Show yourself, time slot. There we go. So 12:50:31. Currently, the time is 12:54:20. So we are about a minute away from the opening, a minute and 5 seconds away from a possible opening. Again, if you're a newer trader, volatility halts come in 5-minute increments. Volatility halts, not just halts in general. There's halts pending news and others. The ones that are for volatility, meaning they move up quicker than 10% in 5 minutes, have the halt periods of increments of 5. So it'll be like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, etc. So we'll see if this one opens up at the 12:55:31. We'll see if it opens up around that time. It is currently halted. Beautiful look, though, on PSTV. I still got a dip trade at $1.30. I think is still valid because that $1.30 was an obvious area of resistance. So if it comes back into that level, I'd like to pick it up. The only thing is I might need to be a bit more ambitious in my entries because the 10 exponential now is $1.34. Currently, it's showing a theoretical auction price of $1.53. That's exactly where it halted at, so it's neither plus nor minus. And if you're wondering what these theoretical auction prices are, oh, here we go. It just opened up right on time. It dipped in to, I think, the low there of 145. Nothing doing, but it has a new high day now, $1.62. It did pop up there. but hasn't cleared it quite yet. The low of the previous candle, come on, bro, why just do it? 145. So let's see exactly what we're doing over here. It looks like we could be continuing on our way up. So what I'm going to do is, let's see if we can get that $1.50. I'm punching long at the $1.50. Let's see if we can get that adjusted cost basis of a bit better. Otherwise, we'll take profits on the way up. Here it goes, 155 incoming, and we're going to sit as well possibly at 165. That's obviously a high day break. Now, if this drops into the $1.30, I'm picking it up at the $1.30. Zigging and zagging right now. No idea where this ends up. Does it breach the previous candle low? It does momentarily. It pops back up a little bit, though. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man short what? 234 short on Tesla. He was already short 237, so he adds into the position. I'm not looking at Tesla right now, Katina Man, but what's the trend on that bad boy? Down and to the right? Kind of barcoding, he says, so we're going to keep an eye out on that. Katina Man's printing on his Tesla trade, and we're going to shut him out for that. Good look by the Katina Man on that. Was started bias on Tesla. He stuck with his bias, and he continues to print. So we're going to keep tabs on that. Make sure, is More Trader TV working before I? Okay, so More Trader TV is working. You'll be able to see the Katina Man's trades and Neil's trades all on our concurrent other channel. It's called More Trader TV. If you're not subscribed, there it is right there. Make sure to weasel on over and be running it parallel to our stream, because you'll be able to see all their positions, their ins, their outs, and everything in between. Those don't work, but you'll be able to see their positions nonetheless about what they're involved with at the moment. So shout out to the boys there. Good look, Joseph. What are you doing on your end, my man?
Yeah, I got some out on NVDA, and I mentioned these resistance levels here, guys, and we ran right into the top of it. I only took about 10% off, and then I got stopped out break even right here. So that's why you see me kind of give it the old desk clap there. So yeah, slightly frustrating, but that's okay. We had some pretty good trades on this morning. So yeah, we'll be patient. It doesn't look like the bottom's in just yet. Apple continuing to bleed. Amazon looking like it wants to take another low. So now south of VWAP and holding. So it looks like we broke the elastic here in the market, and then just continue to move to the downside. Gorev says Meta is still holding VWAP relatively
holding
strong.
600 too.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned this earlier, Sharif. It was the best performing mag on the day.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so good look there on that one. It's holding really well here, guys. So good look here on Meta, but it does look like it wants to break down. If the market continues to the south side, eventually I think our party will win here between the bears and the bulls, and I think it's going to be probably the bears, unless things flip, right? Considering that it's holding relatively strong, and then the market decides that it wants to flip, I think that considering it's holding really well, these levels really well, it can just turn back around and price will start to appreciate again. So I'm at a NVDA. I haven't been trading it lately, and I'm actually quite happy with that. But here we go. I do like this signal on IBIT. Nice 5-minute hammer candle. It was continuously bleeding, significantly weaker than the overall market. And now putting in a potential bottoming signal. I like this, a nice volume signature here, and another one right here. So if we come and test these lows, I'll look to get involved, and then we have our risk profile defined as well. So as soon as it cracks that, then we'll just get out of the trade. So giving it about, 9 cents? Yeah, about 10 cents, about a 10-cent risk there. So yeah, good risk reward on IBIT potentially, waiting for Apple to turn around, waiting for Microsoft, Meta, and a lot of these big names, Amazon, to put in some signals that are hey, we're ready to reverse, but it's not looking like it. So we'll be patient, keep our eyes on the chain, and keep our eyes on the price action most definitely, and the tape as well. You can see that we're continuously flushing here on IBIT, and we're holding relatively well. So that could be a good sign, but I'm not going to try the Qs. We went over 2 on that one. But we're not going to complain about that, because there's always going to be plenty more opportunities here. The best trades of the day were on this one. Again, we talked about the ad here, slightly late on the ad from the 5-minute time frame, but a nice partial out throughout the day. And yeah, so that on Tesla and here on IBIT were definitely the better setups here. So I'm trying to grab the bottom, hold this support level, turn around, and then that's when we're going to get involved here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to load up GTC. It says somebody in the chat says quantum panel about to start, vivid distortions. I'm not seeing anything that's live right now on the NVIDIA YouTube page. They just have stuff from yesterday, Jensen's keynote, the building blocks of AI. So if anybody's got the actual link, for that. Just throw it up in the chat there, and then I'll definitely check it out. I'm looking for it right now on YouTube just for that GTC. There is a CNET one over here, but that's from a day ago. Let me see if there's any live ones right now. I'm just worried because, yeah, wow, Joseph, that's that Michael Saylor one was quite bamboozling. I think you were absolutely right about that. Yeah.
As soon as it said giveaway,
Barcode,
right?
yeah,
I'm like, as soon as I seen that, because dude, it got me
I feel
one.
like my dad, bro. My dad always gets caught in these scams. Like,
There you
and I
go.
always like make fun of him. Now I'm getting caught in these scams.
You're like, I don't know, man. What if he wants to give stuff away? I'm like, bro.
No, I wasn't looking for the giveaways. I just wanted the
bro.
stream.
Yeah,
homie.
you know what I
That's
mean?
like, yeah.
But as soon as, but
Yeah,
dude,
you're right
he got me because it's like a 2-to-1 giveaway. It's him, Elon, and other people sitting at on some chairs together, and I'm texting my cousin. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, dude, are you kidding me? And I'm like, oh yeah, you're
I don't
right.
know. So yeah, throw that in the chat, if you have the link for GTC as well. I don't see anything live right now. Especially, I kind of want to use a trusted source, and NVIDIA's YouTube page, nothing there. So the reason we want this, obviously, is we want to be able to cover the quantum panel for you guys. If there is going to be a quantum panel or whatever they're calling it. In any event, that's the look right now. All right, we're back in PSTV, and it's right back into the high of the day. We've wet the beak a few times already. Now we're waiting at 65s. I'm going to keep adding into this one until it gives up, okay? So I did add into this one at 40. I added at 49s, and then at 41s, and it just took out 60s. Still below the high of the day. The high of the day is 62, so this current candle is an engulfed candle, meaning the previous candle, the one that we opened the halt from, engulfs it from the high side and from the low side, meaning the price action is kind of surrounded. So we don't know exactly who's going to win this one. Is it bulls or bears? Well, I think that the bulls may have control right now because we're above the 10. We're much closer to the high than we are the low. Let's see how this cookie crumbles. We're above 207% now, trying to work our way back into that 160 area. I'm long 142, so I'm going to pack my patience on this one. I'd like a print around 65s if I can. That's where I'm waiting. That necessitates a high of the day breach on PSTV. This has been the best small cap gapper, hands down. On the day, it's been the most respectful. It's been the, I don't want to say predictable because then it'll tank, but you know what I mean, in the sense that it didn't, come into a moving average that that it bounced off before and then kind of tanked like AIFF or Poet or RGC. So it didn't give you that kind of bamboozling look as much as some of these others. Now that's not going to last forever, likely, and it will turn. But hopefully we'll have a bit of an advance notice of it before it starts turning. IBO, another one we talked about but didn't trade because it's trading below the volume weighted average price, is halted to the upside. This has been a tight spread and a tight trade, very widespread, I should say, but it's on a downward trajectory right now. It's below VWAP, and it's making lower lows and lower highs. In fact, it kind of looks like a downward channel. I would be looking basically short this off. I don't short these all that much, but I would be looking to short it off the volume-weighted average price, which is currently at about $1.79, $1.80. It is currently up halted to $1.73, still up 226%. It's a good look, but it's below these key levels, so let's see how this one works out. If it can stay open and trade reasonably without a prohibitive spread, we'll get right back involved. PSTV just touched 60 again, now back into 57s. So it looks like the selling is coming in at the 10 penny level here, 60, despite the fact that the high of the day is 62. So keep an eye out on this one. It's continuing to kind of trend up, but for how long? That is my thinking right now on it. Yeah, I don't have much else other than this one. What is everybody else talking about in the chat? Surin, if BTC down, buy SBIT or BITI. Yeah, IBIT is okay too. I mean, the management fees are okay. The liquidity is the best.
I think he was talking about in the inverse ETFs.
Oh, understood.
Yeah.
Oh, down, yeah. Why can't you just short IBIT though? Is it shortable?
Yeah, but I think I think he was referring to if you still have a long bias, you can long the short.
Fair.
Yeah.
And if you have a margin, or if you don't have a margin account, you can't short, so you can go long these inverse. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go. So there you go, bang.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys. That's the look there. Here we go. Back up to 60. Here we go. 64, 65. Can I get the print? Look at the size sitting at 65. Why are you choosing 65 to stay at?
Why are they doing that?
Why are they doing that to me, Joseph? Why are they doing that to me? All right. Well, we didn't get the print there because there's monstrous size at 65. I'm going to continue to wait, though. Let it cook, bro. Let it cook. Let's see if we can get that. That is technically the high of the day now, $1.65 on PSTV. Good look on this one. I'm just going to flatten out here, or I'm not. Yeah, we'll pack our patience.
You ready?
We'll see if we can get that.
You ready, my guy?
What are we doing?
It's 105, man. It's 105. Bear versus Bulls. Oh, Tesla's breaking out here. That's where, Tesla. Strangle you, but that's all right. Yeah, we're going to hold on to this. We're going to add into this IBIT position as well, too. But I'm ready when you're ready, my friend. I'm ready.
I'm just waiting. Boom! We get the 165. All right, here we go.
All right, we're ready.
566, 64.
64. We like a Nintendo 64.
Are we? What are we doing today? Hold on.
We're going long, buddy.
My mistake.
We're going long.
All right, so 566, 64, I said.
Right.
So we're taking profits. Joseph, 568, 64.
564.
And then we're stopping out 565, 64.
565.
Something tells me we're going to stop.
64. You think we're going to get stopped out today?
Bro. I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. All right.
The OG Darwin says PDD's popping up. Shout out to the OG Darwin. Let's have a look at PDD. Oops, that's PD. That doesn't count. It's not police department. Pager duty. I don't know what the hell that is, but sounds interesting. Yeah, good look, Darwin, bro. I mean, that 129 was a bit of a resistance level there all day. I mean, you had a couple of wicks above it, but for the most part, that 129 was money. Good looking bull flag here on PDD. This one is such a bamboozler. I mean, it gaps down aggressively. They report earnings, I guess, in the pre-market as these Chinese ADRs typically do. And from the closing print to the low of the day, we lost about 9.25%. But look at this. From the low of the day, and that's at 8:05 a.m. to the current high, we're up 13.75. So PDD, Penduo Duo, as they were formerly known, the owners of Temu. Apparently, it's not Temu. I heard some Chinese TikTokers say Temu, so I'm gonna have to say Temu from now on. This is the owner of that company, obviously. And they had a monster year last year. PDD was running up while the Chinese ADRs were all going down. It was very much an outlier. Coming into that 130 level, it's very close, 129.85, the high of the day, but I'll submit to you, it had a whole lot of trouble breaking through 129. The positive news about this one was, or not price action, I'm not talking about the report for now, it had higher lows with that flat top, so I didn't have eyes on that. That's a fantastic look, a very consistent chart pattern. PDD. Good look for now. Oh, this feels good, Joseph.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
It does it ever, my guy.
Look at
Let's
that
go.
top wick right there. That feels good, bro.
Top the sirens
That's
up
a top
for my
wick
guy.
right
Nice
there.
trading there, man.
I appreciate you. Negative on the day, boys, but we'll try to work out of it over here. We'll keep taking trades on PSTV. Joseph, what are you doing?
Yeah, we're in some IBIT here, guys. We're just trying to make these winners as big as possible, slowly piecing some out. So working half decently for us here, guys. We're gonna take a little bit off the top here. Good look on IBIT. We're in half risk, full risk as we get that pullback, holding this resistance level as support. So climbing higher, we're gonna look for 40.79 is where we're gonna get the majority of this position out here. So yeah, this has been our best name on the day, guys, trading IBIT in the morning. It's unfortunate we didn't catch this hammer candle because I was in Tesla, but really, really nice trading there earlier in the day. And then we just want to stick with names that are strong, nice patience. We sold off quite heavily in the afternoon, all the way from south of you at 48.60 to 47.60. So that's a point down there in IBIT. So yeah, good look. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, okay, there we go. Let's see if we can catch 47.90s or 47.85 there, guys. In this, the market is starting to pull back in. Tesla continuing to climb higher. If I was a little bit more patient, but that's okay. We're not going to cry over spilt milk. But here it is. Nice look on Tesla. Coming through, holding nice support levels, and then now starting to squeeze as you get that ascending wedge type price action. Throughout the day, it seems to be the narrative in this name today, guys. A lot of bar coding, as Katina Man says, but then You can make it up. Thank you, Ramin. So yeah, here we go. Nice look here on Tesla starting to squeeze. Volume starting to pick up on the lower time frame. Can we tap into 47.85 on IBIT? That's what we're going to be waiting for here. How much do we have left? I only took a little bit off there. So yeah, we got 60% of the position left. So hopefully we don't get stopped out, break even, and we can continue this nice cover rally here, guys. But the volume the selling pressure is starting to pick up, so that's something we need to be aware of. We'll examine it from a 5-minute standpoint as well too. Why was I in this candle? And then now it's coming into play. So let's go. Hopefully that would be nice. 48.36. This pre-market support level. That would be the dream, and that's what we're going to try to hold on for. But we are starting to come back in a little bit here too, guys. So only 33% off on that on those highs. So would like this recovery to be sustained. Apple starting to pull back as well. So that's a good look. Nice, beautiful hammer candle there. I didn't think the bottom signals were going to come in that into play, but it's working out here on Apple. Double bottom here, guys, off that 5-minute opening drive here, and then now you can see that isolated volume signature and that hammer print right at those key levels, and the options chain confirming it as well as we slowly grind higher. So a little bit tougher risk reward here. Here, you'd be 40 cents if you play the crack of that, but it looks like we're starting to pull back here now, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's no good. It's no good. Yeah. Just get man. Killing me, bro. You watch March Madness?
No.
Neither do I.
No, I don't. I used to be like a big Tar Heels guy. When Tyler Hansbrough played for the Tar Heels, he played for
anything of what you just said.
Right
I don't follow basketball.
North Carolina, where Michael Jordan used to play.
Okay, they're called the Tar Heels?
Yeah, the Tar Heels.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so I was looking today. I was actually watching what's it called, Squawk Box, and Warren is giving Berkshire Hathaway $1 million
For the winning.
Not for you get a perfect bracket. Apparently, it was insanely hard to get a perfect bracket.
Yeah.
So he's not doing that anymore. If you get 30 out of the 32, is it 32?
Something like that. Yeah.
So 30 out of the 32, you get $1 million.
No way.
From Berkshire Hathaway?
That's crazy.
I need $1 billion.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'd be like, what is this? Yeah, Warren.
Like, yo, you guys are like
Warren, that's like 0.0000001% of your capital.
Give me something, Uncle Warren.
Like
I mean, I don't even know what that is. But yeah, apparently it's very hard to choose the winner. It's not that I really know,
hard.
but
well, it's like one game elimination, man.
Well,
Tough
yeah.
I got a playoff hockey game tonight too at 7:30, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah,
your own. And you scored last time, right?
I did. Hey. Not in the same league, different league, but got the game winner.
Spreading yourself over how many leagues, bro?
Two.
Okay.
Yeah, just two. So yeah.
Who do you guys have for the NCAA Katina? The Katina man is not watching. How about yourself, Neil? Anytime Michigan State has a good team, he's always going to champion them. But Auburn is legit. So Neil Roberts has spoken. I have no idea about any of these. I just got to tell you flat out, I don't follow this sport. But yeah, it's very interesting. Everybody seems to like this time, and everybody seems to get super excited with the NCAA. So who are you guys cheering for in the chat? I want to hear who you guys are supporting. You got Joseph talking about what's it called?
North Carolina.
You got Michigan. You got Auburn. Throw in who you guys are supporting. Todd 6060 supporting Duke. The OG Darwin. You can get a trip to Mars on SpaceX too if you get a perfect bracket. Not sure how they'll honor that. That's insane. Did he actually say that, Darwin? Did he? That's it. He'll probably put you on when they go. I'm assuming, right? Like that's probably what the pitch is going to be. Florida Gators says random. Crow 828 says Duke. Tammy says Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Yeah, right. Go Green says Andrew. Basketball is boring says Strayhawk.
What?
Dexter Smith says Duke. Go Gators says JCB Sports Cards. Andrew N says Go White. Alabama says Hal R. Biden 2028. What are you doing, Las Palmas? I don't know if he runs in 2028. I'm just going to leave it at that. He's joking, bro. He's joking. I don't think
Biden,
he actually
there's zero
Biden
chance
is going to run in 2028. Gonzaga says busted.
Ooh, Gonzaga's a good pick.
Guap says, I support Trader TV Live. All right.
bet.
Brown Lighting Duke. Duke seems to be quite consensus here, man. Johnny H, none of the above. I am Carter, UW, so the University of what? Wisconsin? Huskies, okay. Stevie B, Kentucky, KY, I'm assuming. Neil says, Duke is good, but since I hate Duke, I didn't say them. Neil firing shots in the chat. Carl Gruen, sorry, Gators, okay. Other Zinc doesn't care about this. He's like, go MSTR. Let's have a look at what MSTR is doing and bring it back a little bit to a trading.
I was going to ask you, hey, we'll ask one more question.
Yeah,
Sharif, where were you when the Raptors won the NBA title?
Oh, 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was around.
Okay.
I didn't actually go downtown for the parade.
Oh, no.
Man,
I didn't go for the parade,
madness.
but I didn't go for the parade, but
I
I was
watched
there.
every game.
I was there that night.
I remember exactly who played into the lead up, bro.
Yeah.
It was, I forget the first team. I think it was the Nets. And then it was the 76ers.
Yep.
And then it was the, what's it called? With
the Bucks.
The Bucks.
Yeah.
And then it was the Golden State. So I remember the series back and forth.
King Street was crazy that night. Lockdown. It was such an amazing experience.
Right before COVID, too.
Yeah, exactly. Right before COVID. And that's why I'm so jealous of Boston, and I don't like Boston, is because like you guys are just so spoiled with parade after parade. And the last time we've experienced that was 2019. And then before that was, I think, the Jays in 92 and 93.
Yeah, 92 and 93, exactly.
So I didn't even get to really do that, which sucks.
Yeah, you were
I was just born, yeah.
0 and 1. Yeah, legit. No, I actually remember, man, watching those Jays games. I was, I think, in grade 5 or the 93 one. Yeah, grade 5? Grade 5 or grade 6, whatever it was. Yeah, I do remember those games very vividly. I fell asleep when Joe Carter hit that home run, and my sister woke me up freaking out. It's
Let's go. I love it.
Yeah, it was good times. I just remember Mitch Williams. Shout out to Mitch Williams. Do you remember who that is?
No,
he was the closer for the Phillies. And this guy was like, I think he was rivaling our closer, Dwayne Ward, for the most saves on the year.
Oh, really?
And he was a National League save leader, and our guy was the AL save. And so, and this guy was just, they used to call him Wild Thing. Because he was wild, man, bro. Like, Philly back in the day was like a bunch of gas house junkies, right?
Yeah.
And they were all John Kirk and Lenny Dykstra, all juiced up, and big boys of the 90s and 80s, right?
That's crazy.
So they, they got cleaned up. Too bad for Philly. In any event, guys, right now I'm keeping an eye still, guys, on PSTV because it's still holding the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. It still hasn't breached it, but we're in a bit of a deeper pullback. It's a 3 red candle, 5 on the 5 pullback. It seems to keep bouncing off that 10 exponential, so the algos or the individuals trading this are looking, it seems to be here at the 10 exponential as they've been doing all day. Look at this, just absolute clean hold, and again, we'll see if this area holds. I don't mind picking it up off that $1.30. I've made that point clear. I felt that there was definitely a bigger seller at that $1.30. So if we do leave it drop below the 10 exponential, that $1.30 I'll be looking at. But ultimately, it really does come down to that dollar trade, right? This started out its life today at around 55 pennies. Now it's up over $1 into that 167 high. So if it does come back into that dollar trade, you could find a lot of support there. RGC, this one tanked, halted to the downside. Looked like it was losing the bid. Guess what? It's back above VWAP into 39.5. Currently at 39, still well off the highs and still putting in lower highs if you were to kind of look at that trend line. But it's worked its way back above the volume weighted average price and is still up 26, 27% on the day. So this one, if you're not, turned off by its very, very widespread and crazy manner of trading, then have at it. I'm going to stay clear of that one, but we'll keep looking at some others. What are you guys looking there at in the chat? Ultra3123. Jays gave Chicago my favorite player, Andrew Awesome Dawson. Okay, shout out to you. I guess you like us for a different reason. Bruce Richardson. I was in a bar in Montreal when Joe Carter went yard. Great time. Oh, I bet, man. And you probably partying up with the adults. I was sitting there in the basement with my sister, and I was half asleep. So shout out to you. That must have been a time and a half there, man. What else are you guys talking about there in the chat? People are talking about anybody find a link for GTC for quantum computing? Let me have a look again. I was on the NVIDIA YouTube homepage over here, and we're still not seeing anything come in live on their homepage. So I'm kind of really hesitant to believe in anything else because of that earlier issue with the crypto summit. So I'm not seeing any live streams right now. But if you guys do have it, please tag Joe or I, and we'll definitely let you know. What are you guys watching? Where are you guys watching Quantum Days? Asks Fly7. We're not. So keeping an eye on that. Rob Cote, Aurora Cannabis. We mentioned this one earlier today. It looks like they found some I don't know, substance or something like that to prevent mold on the sativa. I don't know why mold on sativa is worse than on indica. Not really understanding the whole there, but that was what the headline wrote. Anyway, this is ACB right here, well off the high. It looks like it did take that $5 area, Joe, but it dropped below the volume-weighted average price, and it looks like it is putting lower lows and lower highs. For the most part, it's found support, at least for the time being, since 12:25, so an hour of support at that 4 1/3. It hasn't been able to break below that 465 level. I'm talking about ACB today with a headline. Here is the headline if you guys want to really dive deep. Aurora Cannabis shares are trading higher on Thursday after the company announced it discovered a novel source of genetic resistance against powdery mildew, a pathogen in cannabis sativa. Okay, so I guess it's only specific, the pathogen, to sativa as opposed to indica. Maybe that's why. In any event, we'll keep an eye out on this one. It is off the highs, though, but defending that 465, Joe.
Yeah, good luck there, brother. So, yeah. Love from India, Uttam Parajapiti. Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry if I botched your name as well. Bhaveen, used to have a friend named Bhaveen Patel. I know that's your guy. Can you please go? Sure. He did some things. But yeah, here we go, guys. We added to this position. There's always ways that we can improve on the trade, but it worked out half decently. There was still about 60% of this up here. I should have took a little bit more off as we rejected, but that's okay. Live and learn. But yeah, we entered, held the lows, and then once it worked out, I didn't want to chase it all the way up here. So we got that pullback, and then when we got that confirmation candle, you can see that we just kind of broke through that high. So not a horrible ad there. Can always put on a little bit more size, but then we just piece out 5%, whatever, 15% at this top, and then we got stopped out with 60% of our position left. So, but that's okay. We'll see if these levels can hold. It doesn't look like the market wants to recover. Meta breaking through VWAP now, Sharif, 598 and a half. That's what it's trading at. So these big names really dragging the market down. Apple coming back into the lower day as well here too, guys.
Sick, bro.
So yeah, I know. Sick stuff. Feels really, really good. But yeah, hey, that's just that. But I like what I was listening to Neil and Sean yesterday, and they're like, if you just don't like it, just get out. And that's what I did with Tesla. I just couldn't allow, and I was telling Sharif, I couldn't let that large of a percentage return go negative. So I just, it's tough, right? But again, you just got to manage the portfolio correctly and just not allow a winning trade to turn into a loser. So thoughts on QQQ for the close? I honestly looked at the chain. Thank you for the Patrick Jam. Thank you for that super chat. Much appreciated. I looked at the Qs. We talked about what the chain is telling us and how we might be just range bound right now, but there's nothing that stands out that tells me like, hey, this is what we're going to be respecting here on the day, even though that strike at 486, 6,000 open contracts, the high of the day was 484.76, so relatively close to that level. So you can see is that we were rejecting there. To the put side, let's see if there's anywhere around a bottom.
Can I just cover something?
Yeah, 475. That's about it there, guys. So we might have some more downside.
So we can't find the GTC link. It doesn't seem like there is a link today, but we are getting little tidbits coming in on X. Thank you, Brendo, for sending that. NVIDIA will open up a quantum research lab in your favorite city, Joseph.
Boston.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said, so I'm assuming Jensen's at this GTC, unless it was a press release released by NVIDIA. So that is the look right now. I'm keeping an eye on NVIDIA. It is positive on the day, but well off the highs, obviously. It was a 120 and a fifth rejection, and now we're looking like we're going to drop into 118. Let's have a look at what these quantum names are doing. Let's go through the usual suspects. Let's start with QBTS, and we'll flip to the 5 minute. So QBTS is selling off. It is at the low of the day. Flat bottom breakthrough 9 55 for whatever reason, hold up there, tried to go positive above 10.5, then all hell broke loose to the downside. So QBTS looking like a short. How about QUBT? They're selling off as well. This is a VWAP trade right now on QUBT. Every time this one pops into VWAP, it is another lower high and lower low. Looks like a great downward channel right now. How about our friend IONQ? Anything catching a bid here? They're all selling off. So typical down. Get it, Katina Man. The Katina Man is still trading Tesla to the downside. IONQ. It is a sell the news event. It looks like on all these quantum names. How about QNTM? Also into the lows. ARQQ is the other one. This one not doing as much volume, but another VWAP trade. They're all at the lows right now. All the quantum names. It does feel like a sell the news event right now on in quantum world. So that's not surprising, obviously. We've seen this many times. We run up and we price appreciate in anticipation of the event. The event then happens, and then we sell the news. Kind of one of the old adages in trading: buy the rumor, sell the news. Anyway, back to some of these small cap gappers. PSTV finding support here at this 135. This is an area that we did reject originally and then drop back down into that $1.15 before we ended up taking it out. So I don't want to jump into this one because I made that mistake with Poet. I made that mistake with AIFF. And I added into these ones on the way down rather than taking the strength on the way up. I don't want to add here. I'm not going to get back in. It's not the level that I wanted. I wanted that $1.30. It's at the $1.40, or I wanted that dollar. So I'm going to pack my patience here on PSTV, but it is still up nicely, 175%. We could change our tune, though, about it. Like if this starts putting in, a couple of green candles on the 5 consecutively, making higher highs and higher lows, well, then we'll have to change our tune. We won't have a choice. Let's see if it's able to weasel back above that $5 area. AGH is another one that I've really had my eye on, and I've been really hoping for that 114 break. That was the aftermarket high yesterday. We got into it today, and we rejected dropping back into $1. I felt this was bull flagging here for a possible accumulation into that 114 break. And now as I stare at it a little bit more, looks like the volume's picking up a little bit. So on the way down, we were dropping to that dollar. The volume really fell off, and now we've been putting in 4 candles in a row of increasing volume. So could we have another possible accumulation at that dollar level for the eventual break above that $1.14? AGH has been one I've been keeping my eye out on. What's going on, Katina Man? The Katina Man's, yeah. The Katina Man is dancing with Tesla right now. He's short at 235, so he's already 50 pennies in the money. It feels like a weak market, Katina Man. Well, you and I both, brother. Katina Man is basically like, look, I'm trying to figure out this market, right, so that he can gauge Tesla the right way. I mean, who doesn't want to figure out the market? Get down, Katina Man. There we go.
Yeah,
he's saying he should have shorted the Q. I think you've got a good idea here in Tesla, brother. I mean, anyway, we'll let you cook there. So could have shorted the market at VWAP about 20 minutes ago. So it is one of those things. Mr. C, 199 super chat. My man dropping cash in the chat. Did the SPY just break the 200-day? Say less. Yes, we've been below the 200-day for a while, but this is the exponential. Let me see if I can weasel a simple on here as quick as you like. So let's go and type in simple. There it is. We'll weasel it in there super quick. So what color are we going to make this monkey over here? Here we go. SMA, show yourself. SMA, we'll change this one into 200. It is a simple moving average, and we'll keep it as green.
Wow, Meta's really
I messed that up. What's going on? You want to take over?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, guys. Let's go over a couple things here. This is what we'll do first. We're gonna tap right into the lesson and finish what we got going on. So this is what we went over earlier. So rights are equals exercise. When you exercise an option, this implies you bought a call or put that gave you the right to allocate the underlying asset at your fixed strike price. Obligation is being here. Let me get rid of this here. Oops. Okay. Yeah, so obligation equals assignment being assigned on your options position. That implies you sold the call or a put, and that option exercised more than a cent in the money. That requires you to return X amount of shares to the opposite party. We refer to that a lot. Okay, so we're going to go over some examples here. So stock XYZ is trading at 200 and you bought the 190 call. You have the right to exercise your call option and allocate XYZ at 190 when the underlying asset is trading at 200. Fairly simple. Stock XYZ is trading at 150 at the time of expiration, and you sold the 140 call. You are now obligated to sell those shares to the opposite party at a price of 150. You rarely have to exercise your options. Just close the position before expiration to avoid assignment. Close the position before it expires in the money at that expiration date. All right. So intrinsic and extrinsic value. This is exactly what I wanted to touch on because this is what I was referring to Sharif earlier on my Amazon on my Amazon calls. So the true value of trading options comes from being able to trade shares at the option strike price, not what it's currently trading at. Okay. So this is where intrinsic and extrinsic value come into play. Intrinsic value equals buy an options contract for $5. The same contract is now trading at $15. That contract has $10 of intrinsic value. All right, so extrinsic value equals time value. If you buy the 100 call for $2 and the underlying asset is trading at $100, this contract is only $200 extrinsically valuable and holds no intrinsic value. Okay? So this is what I was referring to. And when I told them, so I said, hey, I have a further dated expiration cycle here on Amazon. It is in September. That is where I have that cycle. I bought a 200 call. But I'm up money on the trade because I have gained extrinsic value, all right? So I've gained time value. I bought a $200 strike price at, say, we'll call it 195, so it's slightly down now, but earlier in the day, I gained time value. And what necessarily is time value is that I have a contract expiration in September. And now that I am, so the underlying asset is trading out the money, but as it gets closer to being in the money and at the money, that time value is added onto it. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I paid $13. It's trading the underlying assets at 195, and then now when it trades at the money to 200, that contract is now worth $15. So that is $1,500 of extrinsic value because you're not going to exercise something that is necessarily at the money. Well, you can at the money, but you're not going to exercise something that is out of the money. All right. So that is what I really wanted to touch on. Hopefully that's not too complicated for you guys. Calculating intrinsic value, option strike price minus current market price equals intrinsic value. Calculating extrinsic value. Market price minus intrinsic value equals extrinsic value. Now we're just going to put everything together. I'm missing on some trades here, but that's okay. Capital calls and puts are a versatile tool that require less capital. You don't need to exercise your options closed before the possibility of assignment. Extrinsic and intrinsic value give options their value, and that's where you get that leverage aspect. And what I was going to do here, I just wanted to show something real quick before I send it back to you, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
This is what I was looking at, and this is what I wanted to pull up here. Okay, so we're going to go on the cues. I'm just doing something on the side so I can display it to you a little bit more cleaner, all right? Sure. So cues there, and I want to make sure that it's correct. So what I want you to display here, I'm going to put in a zone in the markets, and this is what we're going to do. We're just going to gauge profit ranges, all right? So in a specific option strategy that I really, really like, and that is going to be the Iron Condor.
Joseph, can I cover?
Yeah, go ahead.
Quickly?
Go first, brother. Yeah.
All right, there's a Palantir headline here, guys. That's why it's selling off aggressively. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says canceling Pentagon HR software contract. I don't know if Palantir has this contract. Watching shares of Palantir being reported by Bloomberg. Juan Padilla bringing to my attention the move down. I didn't have eyes on this. I don't typically trade Palantir, but that is a headline right there. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says canceling Pentagon HR software contract. I mean, I perceive Palantir to be much more than just a software or an HR software manufacturer, bro. These guys are going to be next level. Anyway, I've made my point clear that I think that the military cuts help Palantir in the long term, not the short term, in the long term, because they are kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they add value. In this, because their software is a lot cheaper than these more expensive military aircrafts and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Makes sense. Okay, so yeah, we'll just go back onto what we're touching, and we're going to use this as an example, okay? So we'll pull up the actual underlying asset here first, and if you want to construct a trade, and we're just going to use an example of how it looks when you are doing so in your order ticket. So if we believe that the market is going to move sideways, I'm going to remove this line, these two lines here, because we don't need them. So we'll avoid the, so this is our trade plan, okay? So we can construct a trade plan. We don't have a directional bias, and this is the beauty of options. All right, we don't have a directional bias. You can see I have a resistance line drawn and a support line drawn. Now we can build a trade idea, a thesis stating as long in X amount of time, so whether it be a week, a day, or a couple months, as long as that underlying asset closes in between those support and resistance zones, we can create a profitable trade. What does that look like here on the options chain? Or from an options constructing standpoint. So this is how an iron condor is constructed. And this range is your profit target. You see that when we step out of it, this is when we become negative on the trade. But here, this is the profit range, and I just wanted I wanted to show you guys the charting of it, because it may take some time. It may take some time in order to understand that. But with an iron condor, you can say, hey, from 474 all the way to 484, as long as we close within that range, we can construct a profitable trade, and that is the beauty of options, and I just wanted to show you guys that. I know we have, let me know when you're ready, my brother. We're going to hold on to this.
Yep, ready.
Okay, cool. Fire it up.
New traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees. You get to trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite. You'll be able to analyze, strategize, and then hopefully, after all that, you'll capitalize on their platform. It's got everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. You'll be able to predict the market better with backtesting. It's got reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan that QR code or check the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks there at eSignal, and they were nice enough to provide me with an account, and I cannot be more thankful. I'm back into PSTV, Joseph. I'm looking to, I already wet the beak there at 49s. I'm waiting now at 53s. It does seem like it has a whole bunch of selling at this 50 penny level. It's gotten really thickly traded. 52s now. Can we get a 53 print? Can I get a hallelujah? No, can't get anything quite yet. Packing my patience. Just worried that this does reject off the $half. We know that there's $half, the whole dollar areas of support and resistance for these small cap gappers, Joseph.
Yeah, nice look there, my friend. Oh, I wish I got in on this bottom here, guys. It's okay that we didn't. I mean, nice bounce here on IBIT. Those hammer candles really coming into play on this name. It was selling a lot quicker than the overall market, and then it put in that signal at the bottom, and we got in here, and then we got stopped out break even, but then we just didn't get back in. So yeah, gotta get in on those trades, but that's okay. Yeah, so climbing higher and looking like it wants to break through this resistance zone. So yeah, that's unfortunate. That's okay. There'll always be more. Amazon starting to pull back. Apple still weak. So just avoid really weak names if you're looking to go to the long side. But Tesla looking okay. This is really tough to sit through this type of price action. I mean, and then you got all this. This is where price was condensing on the lower time frame, but pre-market was choppy, and then you go into a nice consolidation here once again, and then you break the lows, and then you go into this barcode type price action, and then you pop a little bit higher. Just the signs of a stock that's not necessarily as in play as we would like, hovering around here. And I don't want to compare this to AMD, but you can see the similarities in this name, even though we are starting to recover here. Would have been nice to be in at 96. Maybe if you were holding these base races. But this name is just not in play for all the way from, let's see, March of 24. So over a year ago now, a year and a couple of weeks, just bleeding and hasn't recovered. And I mean, this AMD was supposed to be number 2 in the AI race here, Sharif.
Yes,
and if
sir.
this is what number 2 looks like, even though you know it's not, you got like Broadcom obviously suppressing. It's just not a good look here. And I'm not gonna I don't like comparing apples to oranges, but look at Tesla here, man. I don't know. Is this the base? Is this the bottom here? 192 might be in the works. I just don't think the selling's done yet. I just think with the momentum and everything to the downside, it could be. It just takes a long time to turn this around. It's going to need some positive catalysts.
I think AMD's better days are coming, and I have talked about
its worst days are over. Is
I think so. At least like the major part of the worst days. And the reason I say that is we know that they can't make the MI300. They can't make the MI330 in any great number to sell them to the hyperscalers because Taiwan Semi doesn't have enough capacity.
Yeah, they don't have enough capacity.
Taiwan Semi makes like 99 or like 80 some odd % of the world's most advanced chips. And I'll submit to you that these advanced AI GPUs fall into that category. So unless that factory or foundry we call for chips in Arizona can open up a bit quicker, we're going to have to wait until it's open so that they can earmark that capacity. They've already promised.
So what would they have to do to TSMC? Like in order, so you know how NVIDIA controls most of it, would AMD have to walk in Lisa soon and be like, hey, we're going to give you more money. We need you to start producing more.
I don't think so. I think it's all contractually, like they've made
Okay.
And the thing is, Jensen's been able to take the majority of Taiwan Semi's production output, but that doesn't mean that Lisa's not going to be able to get some. The problem is the factory or the foundry that's going to make Lisa's MI processors are not ready yet.
Yeah, they're not ready.
They're not ready.
Fair enough.
So we can't get what we don't have the machines to make. So guys, PSTV looks like this is going to reject. So this is a lower high. It did breach 50. I didn't get my print at 54s or we're at 53s. And now it's moving right back down. So I've given it to prior bar low. I'm not talking about this prior bar right here. I'm talking about this one, the one that printed at 130. The low of that bar is 139. I've given it to 137. I perceive this one to be a stair step down, especially with that topping tail into 150 that didn't really continue. So if that's the case, we're not going to give much back here, and I'm going to keep a very tight stop on PSTV. It looks like the best trade may have been behind it now. It's still up 182%, was up 200 some odd %, but now stair stepping down. PSTV, good look on the day, but I think this one is making lower lows and lower highs. I got into SPRY because it weaseled right back into the volume weighted average price. I perceive this to have as well lower highs. So I am kind of concerned that it flat bottom breaks. I've tried to give myself a little bit of room here below VWAP. We're long at 40s. It's showing me 35, so we're not out of the money by that much, but we haven't printed anything to the high side yet. This one's been dipping into VWAP, popping back up, dipping into VWAP, popping back up. But every time it pops back up, it's a little bit lower than the previous high. So that's what we call a descending wedge and a possible flat bottom break, right? So we'll wait and see if we get that. Just trying to put some trades on at the moment. Don't want to stay with my hands doing nothing. Here goes back to PSTV. It is dropping down now. I had a feeling this one looks like it's going to give up the ghost. Keep your eye out, though, for that $133. That is the area low, that $135, $133. I'm not going to give it to that low. I'll just get out before that, and then if it ends up holding and curls back up, we can have another discussion. But I'm going to keep a tight stop on this one. If it breaks that 136 level, that is the end of the trade. What are we doing there with PLTR? Piper's talking about Palantir, saying it's another loss. I'm sorry, brother. I mean, I don't know if you went long or short there, but it looks like it did pop up a little bit. You could add a 50 penny winner. 86.50 was a low, pops up into 87 mid-teens, and then right back down it goes. So I'm not sure how you traded that, brother, but hope you kind of get the wind under your sails again. Bhavin, am I saying your name right?
I think it's Baveen.
Baveen.
Yeah.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I think so, man.
Just tag me. Let me know if I'm saying it wrong or if Joseph's right on that one. Let's have a look at DWTX. DWTX. What is this one doing on today? What do we got? Flip to the 5. That's obviously the daily chart. You can tell it's a former runner. Not bad. Good, move it to 7. It's not for me, though. It's very light on volume, and it's only done about 119,000 shares on the day for a $7 name. That ain't going to cut it for me. But I see what you're saying. Good move up, but the liquidity is very much lacking, so not for me. You got it right. I told you, bro.
Ooh, you were right? Bobbin?
He tagged me.
You got it right. All right, so it's Bobbin.
Bovin,
I thought it was Bavine. I had a buddy named Bavine.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I swear to God, I used to work with him for a while.
I believe you, bro.
From Brampton.
Hey, Neil's hood. So, okay. Good look there. Nothing doing for me, guys. Still holding SPRY at 35s. It continues to drop. We're 6 pennies out of the money. PSTV, we're 1 penny out of the money. It's showing me 45s. I'm long 46. Not going to give this much room. Benny, CYCU. Let's have a look. Load up that bad boy, CYCU. What do we got over here? Kai Kurion Inc. Sure. Okay, so this has a pre-market high at 6:10 a.m. of 81 pennies. I will not trade this until and if it breaks that 81 penny high. I realize it's above VWAP. Watch out for a double top at around 73 pennies. It kind of weaseled its way up there. I'd be interested if it cleared that level. That's kind of just my rule for these bad boys. Let me know if it does break above that level. We only have 15 minutes left on the show, so I likely will not trade that. But thank you for pointing that out. Thoughts on RR? Patrick Oh, I thought it was Patrick Vitale, but it's Patrick Del Valle. I got excited. See how excited I got there? Yeah. Let's have a look at RR. Rich Tech Robotics. Okay. Not a bad look today for Rich Tech. I mean, it popped up. It's up 5.87%. I think it's off the highs, though, Patty, because this one did move up to 244, kind of a bit of a head and shoulders pattern here, and now we're making a downward channel below the volume-weighted average price. That's kind of how I see that one. So it's a good day for it, but I think the best part of the trade is behind it now, especially you've had a couple of bounces off this VWAP area as well. Let me know how it goes if you continue trading it, but Rich Tech, not for me. Stuart, hey, mate. CRVO, say less. CRVO, let's have a look. This is a great looking chart. Why the hell did I not have my eyes on this? Shout out to Stuart. This is what I mean, guys. I mean, it is a little light on volume for a $12 name. It's only printed 12.75 million shares on the day, but that's acceptable. I can deal with that. So CRVO is the ticker. Here's what I see, Stuart. I see respect for the 10 exponential, the deeper retracements and the consolidation all held up above the 20s. But for the most part, you are getting respect for that green line. That's a 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. It's a good look right there. I'd be looking to base my trades off that with possible dip trades into the 20. But if it breached that on a closing basis, I'd get out and then I'd look for a possible retracement into that 11 and a fifth. For a VWAP retracement. That's how I'd look at CRVO. Good call out by you, my man. That's kind of what I want to see from you guys. Those are the ones that look good there. GLD, Sharif or Joseph, I'll give you that one.
GLD, yeah, for sure. Gold, we like gold. We like gold. Yeah, I like gold.
So good, bro.
Yeah,
there was like, I can't say it without getting way too politically biased over here, but there was just like this politician who was calling out the other side. I'm not going to say who.
Yeah.
And he was calling them, they were lacking masculinity. He's like, I could kick all their asses. So the meme was like, is the masculinity in the room with us right now? It's like he was delusional a little bit, right?
That's more, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, gold. Yeah, that one's over there. But I mean, yeah, guys, nice signal here. I mean, I was looking at GLD right down here at 263. You're now trading her at 280. Are you chasing it up here? Maybe if you want to hedge against a recession, maybe tariffs. But I'm not going to be chasing it up here. But GLD, do you own GLD, Sharif? I
don't own any gold.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what
my
you're
old
saying.
man was in it for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
lost money on it.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. But I mean, for the past couple of years, man, excuse me, it's looking really. Are you laughing at me?
No, because someone in the chat knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Sorry, no, it's okay. I guess since last year, February 24, you've almost doubled. You have more than doubled in price in gold. So Yeah, this is again. I have my names that I want to get involved. I started a position in Hood, running some swings on Amazon, but the Hood is for more or less the long term. Really like the numbers. Amazon most definitely a swing play. Hopefully we can hold up some key levels. But as for gold, man, it is really nice and continuing to climb higher and higher. So. Yeah, I like that name. And I guess it's an ETF, not a name. But yeah, if you want to hold gold without actually outright owning it, then that's your way. Okay, what was I going to pull up here? Yes, AMZM. Talk a little bit about this. It sucks because we were sitting on top of this resistance zone. You can see that I had 200 marked out. There's quite a bit of open interest there, so we couldn't crack that, but we are now heading to the south side. I'm out at 85 if we break lower on that specific options trade. So yeah, I have that calculated into the contracts. Hopefully we hold these levels, but I don't like this selling pressure right here. Guys, was hoping for that to be sustained. Anything can happen in the latter half of the day, come 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And if we can regain half of this, then I think we'll be okay. And then tomorrow's open is going to be really important. We have quad witching, so watch out for the open, guys. You're going to see a lot of volume come through the tape. So just be prepared for that. There might be a little bit choppy out of the open, and it could be really strong or really weak. So just be patient, and you're going to notice in those 5 minute, in that first 5 minute print, there's going to be an excessive amount of volume on the larger names. So that on SPY, you'll see a lot on Apple, Microsoft, and most definitely NVIDIA there. So I'm looking forward to that. And I mean, today's not over, but I think tomorrow is going to be really, really interesting considering we're running into quad witching here, Sharif.
Yeah, man. I'm just continuing to watch my position here on SPRY. We're long 27s. I mean, it's showing me 29s. I'm not going to print anything unless it takes out that 40 penny level. So I'm just trying to pack my patience. This is a VWAP retracement trade. PSTV as well. This is putting in higher lows, but we're not necessarily getting enough volume to push this decisively above that $0.50, and that's where I'm waiting on PSTV. That $0.50 does or is an elusive target, at least for the moment. It was well above that, going up into that $1.65, but has since kind of lost a little bit of the steam here. So we'll keep tabs on that now. Now, with respect to my my out ultimately on SPRY, I do have my stop there, at 14.12. So it's going to have to kind of hold above the previous bar low. That's going to be my look. I don't want to keep holding this if it's going to put lower lows. Currently, the current candle, the current 5 minute candle, I should say, has a higher low than the previous one, which is why I'm involved. Otherwise, we're going to steer clear of this one. There's not too much else happening in small cap gapper world other than to say that AGH, one that we were watching all day for that 114 break, which didn't happen, at least not yet, is coming back into that dollar area. It has been money off that dollar. Every time it dips into that dollar, it pops back up. Now, the only issue with that is we're putting in lower highs now, so we could get that flat bottom break through the dollar, and then we could find ourselves easily at 95 pennies, if not below that. So AGH still in focus, but not doing much at the moment. Let me know what you guys are looking at. I'm basically winding down my trades at the moment. I don't want to get into too many new trades. I see you, Dennis. I see you. Try not to use the idiot word. Otherwise, Streamlabs will block it. So just going to keep it clean. What else we got here? Mr. Briggs, BDTX. I think somebody asked me about that one earlier. Let's have a look at it again. BDTX. CRVO is a great looking trade though, so shout out to Stuart, man. BDTX, I believe they said. Yeah, this one, I did mention this one because it was strong yesterday, but this is an inside day for BDTX. We're above yesterday's low and well below yesterday's high. So what does a daily chart on this one look like? Yeah, definitely a former runner, but as you can see, the overall trend, my goodness, is down and to the right. This is Black Diamond Therapeutics. That's the name of the company, about $115 million market cap. On the day, though, not for me. It has to be above yesterday's high. Otherwise, it's an inside day, and you can get pushed down by the bag holders from yesterday. So that one I'll steer clear from. What are we doing on my trades? Nothing doing right now, Joseph. Break even on one or a break even on both. Both kind of holding patterns, but not really sure how this SPRY trade ends up doing as it's holding VWAP. But I saw this before with Poet. where it held VWAP and then broke down below it. So trying to be careful here.
Yeah, good luck there, my friend. Someone in the chat has been kindly asking us to go over some NEO and $5 calls. Ooh. So hopefully you're paying attention now. Excuse me. I don't really love this name, $5 calls. I know you mentioned Lotto, so that's just what you want to look at it as, right? You can buy those $5 calls and look at it as a lottery ticket. I wouldn't have too much faith. I forget when they report. Is it tomorrow morning? I'll go over that real quick to see what we got going on. So tonight we have Micron, Nike, and FedEx. I remember Katina Man and I did FedEx, or it might have been Neil and I doing FedEx last time, and they told me they're going to be doing a split. They're going to break up the corporation, which was pretty interesting. And then NEO, yeah, tomorrow NEO's at 4:30 a.m. Expected earnings of a 42-cent loss there, guys, and then revenue of 2.85 billion. And then we got CCL, obviously, at 9:15. So again, if they come in better than expected, that's what the street wants, right? When you have earnings reports, if you come in with surprise, that's what the street's looking for, a surprise in some way. So if they come at like a 20-cent loss, 30-cent loss, maybe it can continue to climb higher. So that'll be a little bit better than expected, and that's what the street's going to look for. So $5 calls here on NEO running in tomorrow's earnings report. You said it, you hit it pretty much perfectly on the head. It's a lottery ticket, right? Just going from this previous price action, and I don't really love this car space too much. So yeah, that's what it is, lottery ticket. Hopefully you can print up a storm on it, and if you are in the money come the open, if you break through here, I mean, if you break through $5.50, then I would continue to hold on that. But come that print, if you stay within this range, I would just be a little bit more cautious and wary that you can come back into the bottom of the range there, Sharif. So.
All right, Woo selling off, says Brandon Young. Let's have a look at WU. I don't even know what that is. Western Union. Okay, yeah, definitely not going to trade this, and it's very, very lightly traded. So let's see what else is moving on here. Bren Rex, BY, DDF, just another fear factor of their 1,000 volt charging system, 1,000 amps. It is a DC system, 1,000 volts DC, doesn't kill you, it cooks you from the inside out. They have a way to go. So what he's talking about there is what we heard about from BYD. I'll just put BYDDY. He put the F, it's the same thing, BYDDY. This is BYD stock on the OTC. It's not dual listed. This is kind of an, I don't know what you call it when you don't list on the main exchange, but you list on the OTC. What is that called? You know what I mean?
Pink sheets?
Yeah, but it's OTC. It's just like, what's that whole thing called? Anyway, it doesn't really matter, Joseph. So what they announced was that they could basically get a full charge or almost a full charge within 5 minutes, which kills Tesla's current system. Again, you know, it's coming out of China, so there's really no way to verify it. That's what the media has been selling you anyway. I'll submit to you that these Chinese EVs are just light years ahead of their American competitors, and that's because they invested in it from a long ago. Lots of state subsidy going into that EV sector, both for raw materials and then refining, production, subsidies for the consumers so that they could buy. So there's lots of, national interest in being the leader in EVs, and they were doing this way before the Americans. And so they're a little bit ahead, sadly, for us, because we don't get their Chinese EVs here, and we also have 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs to kind of follow the American sentiment. Now, what's interesting, since I'm on this topic, is that I was watching a video on my favorite social media platform, TikTok, and there were, commentators there saying that there were ways to get in Chinese EVs through Mexico. So the idea was that the Mexicans hadn't placed their own 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs. So there was a way, apparently, where you could register the car in Mexico as a Mexican national or however else, and then bring that car into the United States or Canada as a previously registered car and then not have to pay the tariffs on that. So I'm not sure, I'm not making a statement as to the accuracy of that, but that's what that's the video that I was told, or that's the video that I watched, that's what it said. So let me know if you guys know anything about that. That'd be interesting to know if that's even feasible. some ideas come to mind. Obviously, how would you service the car? That's number one. Number two, if it was a warranty, if there was something wrong with the car, how would you go ahead and have parts replaced without, having the part come in from China? And then who would be able to service that here unless they knew the parts? I don't think it's illegal, boys.
Well, I don't think you register.
You can register the car, yeah, but that's the thing. I don't know if it would be illegal in the sense like it'll be like you get like arrested or something like that.
Might say, like, how do you have?
Yeah, well, I don't think they really care as long as it was a registerable vehicle, right? The port is where you pay the tariff. So once a car comes in from the port, that's where the tariff is due. It's not due at the Ministry of Transportation when you register it. So I don't think that it works like that. Well, anyway, that's just a little tidbit there. Joseph, any final thoughts for everybody as we wind down the show?
Yeah, I mean, we got some good names here tonight, guys. We have FedEx, MU, and Nike. Those are going to be some primary names that Katina Man and I are going to be keeping an eye out for. Be patient. The market doesn't want to quite recover, but it does. It feels nice that the bulls are getting back engaged here, even though we are selling. But you can see those buyers most definitely start to step in, guys. It is 2 o'clock. Keep those risk measures in place. Don't blow up your day. If you're green, be patient, and we will catch you same time tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of big reports tonight, Mike.
Huge reports tonight.
A lot of big reports.
Elster reports tonight. Welcome everybody here. We've got the market's trending down, obviously, if you've been paying any attention.